just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's getting cold. Your heating bills are on the rise, and your house's old and damaged windows are letting all of that heat and your money go right out the window. Good thing there's Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. You'll love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon, but around the evening commute, there could be one more quick shower, and it's cool out there. A high of just 60 degrees. Speaking of cool, the coldest night so far this season, down to 38 tonight under clear skies. We have a frost advisory west of Raleigh. 62 degrees for tomorrow. It'll be a cool day with lots of sunshine, and it's the opening day of the state fair.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 340 points today to 43,081. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox, producing, keeping us up and running, as always. Canes won last night. First one in the books. First W in the old win column for the Carolina Hurricanes. Unfortunately, we didn't overreact to the loss in Game 1.
No.
So I think we're kind of bound to not overreact to the win in Game 2. If there's rules, right? If society is guided by rules and regulations, then I think we have to make sure we don't overreact to Game 2, but it's tempting.
Very tempting.
I kind of wish we overreacted to Game 1. I wish yesterday I was saying the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Game 1 was so bad, because then I could come in here in good conscience and say, Game 2, they're going to win the cup.
Let's go. All in.
I mean, with one notable exception, the things I wanted to see last night for the Canes, I saw. That's very, very good. Jackson Blake scored what eventually proved to be the game winner. That's a rookie in his I know he played, scraps at the end of last season, really in his second game. Not starter, but you know what I mean.
Hey, if it's played one game last year, so really it's just his third.
Third, but it's even less than that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Scored on a hockey IQ play, which is always, it's good to see, right? Because Jackson Blake, everybody told us he's this pro-ready mind. He has high hockey IQ. He's a playmaker, and which is great, but you can't measure it, right? When somebody says, this guy is fast, you could watch it and go, yep. This guy's big. You can just height, weight. Tell me what he is. This guy's a high hockey IQ. You're like, I guess I'll know it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some of it last night for Jackson Blake. Here he is talking about the moment he scored his first NHL goal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't even remember it already. It's pretty blacked out after that, really. And, I saw Orly come give me a big hug, so that was pretty special.
It ended up being a game-winning goal, too. You got the double bonus.
Yeah, worked out perfect there. So
I do love when awesome individual accomplishments come in wins and help teams win, because then players don't have to do the fake humility thing. Right, Kotkaniemi last night, which, by the way, playmaker Kotkaniemi.
Hey, he set up Gostisbehere's goal.
Set up Gostisbehere's goal a few times. Set up guys for chances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got the puck to Natchez, who slid the puck over to Gostisbehere for his first goal. But yeah, that was all work by KK in the corner.
I'd like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was his 100th point as a Carolina Hurricane.
I like that.
I like when the individual accomplishments, first goal, 100th point, all of that come in wins, because then the players don't have to sit up there post-game and go, well, it means nothing if it doesn't come in a win. They actually get to be happy about it. So shout out to Jackson Blake for showing that high hockey IQ, scoring your first. Shout out to Kotkaniemi. If you're going to be a playmaker, KK, I'm in. I am all in. Going to set everybody up for some opportunities. I'm in. Shane Gostisbehere. Talking of things I want to see, Shane Gostisbehere looks like the most comfortable guy in the world that changed teams in the offseason, has played 2 games with his new side. I know he's been here before, but it's as if he never left. Gostisbehere on feeling comfortable in the system.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, being here before definitely helps, but, just playing games again, really have to get used to it. I mean, it's a tough system in the sense you're always moving your feet, and, I'm a good skater, so it really helps me in the sense that, I could really, skate my way through the system.
You see why Gostisbehere is back. When he is on the blue line, he impacts the offense so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to think of the best way to say this. I'm just going to try to say it plainly. I think what Gostisbehere can show some of the Canes, even I don't want to say leading from the back, but he can show this to some of the higher paid, more star players. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to be a defenseman and take 6 shots and score a goal. It's okay. Sometimes I think the Canes, and this is a credit to them as individuals, they're nice people. I think some of the best Canes out there could have a little bit more I'm going to get mine in their game. A little bit less, let's make sure everybody's getting involved. The way I told Dennis is I think they need some more like Gilbert Arenas. I think they need some more Monte Ellis for my NBA fans out there. Just guys, actually, Dennis, we have our little ladder competition going on, which is a gambling deal between Dennis and I. Dennis likes bringing up the shots on goal odds, and we talk about them in the cubicles.
Yeah.
And there's certain guys you see 2, 3, 4 shots on goal. You're just like, oh, they're going to get that. Click. I want more of that vibe on the Canes, where you have your best player and you go 3+ shots on goal, hammer it. But instead you could be like, I don't know, Aho could finish with 4 points and have 2 shots on goal, which is great. But occasionally you just got to say, if I get a good look, I'm taking it. And Gostisbehere is that dude from the blue line so far this year. If I get a good look, firing away. And I hope that rubs off on some of the other Canes.
Sometimes it's a byproduct of you're trying to make a great play as opposed to just taking the simple one that's in front of you. And that's what Gostisbehere does. I got a lane to shoot. I'm going to put the puck on net. It's as simple as that. And guess what? As a byproduct of that, people are like, oh, shots on net. Oh, let's go get it back. Let's put another shot on goal. And that's just, again, it kind of feeds itself. But sometimes just the simple play is the right one.
And you might be 3 passes away from a better shot. But you have to count in the fact that you might not complete those 3 passes.
Yeah.
And the shot you have, it's bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush. It's like you have a good shot right now. Let it rip. And I like that from Gostisbehere. By the way, what you said reminded me of one of my favorite Coach K quotes. My dad, big Duke fan, grew up with had season tickets right before I was born to Cameron. So I got all the Coach K books in elementary school. I believe he was talking to Battier. And one of his quotes to Battier was, "Don't let perfect get in the way of being very good."
Mm-hmm.
Because you can drive yourself crazy, hunting perfect when if you just play, you'll be very good. You might make a mistake, but it's fine. That's what I think Gostisbehere can show the Canes. Seth Jarvis, welcome.
There it is.
Goal scored.
On pace for 41, baby. Let's go.
On pace for 41. I also love the goal, meaning Jack Hughes scores, you're down 1-0, one of your stars, newly high-paid players, goes out, ties it up almost immediately halfway through the game. That's a big goal. I like that he made it. I like that he found the back of the net. And then Pyotr Kochetkov. He was good. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. We'll talk about him more later on. The one nitpick, right, I said the one thing that one exception, everything else I saw that I wanted to see. Power play was still pretty rough.
Yeah, just the one opportunity, and it did not look great.
I think that's where the selfishness needs to really, really pop in. I want everyone there to think we have the advantage. This is a chance to pad my stats. They just get pass happy. It's a lot of let's set you up. Let's set you up. Oh, this is great. Let me draw the defense and set you up. No, you up. I want it. Give me the ball. Like that's what I need. That a little bit more on a power play.
I dealt with that when I was coaching lacrosse. I dealt with that. Sometimes people just get a little too pass happy because, again, trying to look for that perfect play, that perfect shot. And I would say make the right play. If the right play is shooting, then shoot it. If the right play is to make a pass, then pass. Like, just make the right play. Sometimes the right play is you shooting.
Sometimes I think if, like, Jarvis, Aho, Svech, and Natchez came to a four-way stop, like like they're all driving in their cars, stop signs, not streetlights, they would just sit there going like, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. No, and no one's ever just driving into the middle of no one's ever going like, fine, no, I'll go. They're all just sitting there going, yeah, go ahead. No, I got all the time. You go. No, what about him? You go. No. And it's just, they're just sitting there for an hour. At some point, I want somebody to just say, you know what? I'm going. Drive away.
By the way, quick note, Dmitry Orlov, 300th career point last night.
Another individual
You
milestone.
mentioned Kotkaniemi, 100th point in a Canes uniform. Also his 400th game. Jackson Blake, first career goal. And Sebastian Aho's 600th career game.
That's there's
a lot of round numbers.
A circle of hockey life going on there. Brand new, big vets, a lot of stuff going on there. It's cool. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, Duke football coming off their bye week, coming off their first loss of the season, then a bye week. It is time to reset their goals because it looks like the goals we set for them preseason were way too low. Resetting the expectations for Duke football next.
Move your sports day forward.
The Panthers can't finish. I agree with that in terms of Dave Canales, but I'm not sure they have the horses to finish. And here's the most challenging part about it if you're a Carolina Panthers fan. It's not the frustration that you're like, oh man, there's another loss or whatever it is that I'm not sure it gets any better the rest of the way out for you.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, as Week 7 is pretty close, actually. Broncos and Saints. Oh my gosh, Sean Payton going against his former team. So, new customers, you bet $5, win that bet, and get $300 in bonus bets. That is incentive to you. Pick an easy one, like Sean Payton yelling at his quarterback. That's minus money. So, here we go. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Have some fun. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Duke football, listen up. You're the best power conference football team in the state of North Carolina. Can you be more than that? Can you build off of that?
If they can be better than the best?
Can you be maybe not just the best power conference team in the state of North Carolina, but one of the better in the ACC? Can you be a bowl participant in a bowl that you once thought was above your pay grade, your level, out of your league at maybe the beginning of this year? It's time to reset expectations for Duke. It is no longer bowl game or bust because, quite frankly, you've won 5 of your first 6 games, and looking at your schedule, one more game is not a big enough goal. It has to be more than that. Your expectations have to be higher than that. And by the way, this is one of my favorite parts of sports. You're not finished, unless you ultimate national champion, Super Bowl, whatever. You're not finished. Every time you do something, you celebrate, you get excited, and you immediately look at the next step. And I've talked about this with kind of a sentiment. I was talking with somebody who was complaining, I'll say, about their college athletics career. And complaining is not even the right word. They were just, lamenting that something didn't break their way, that whatever. And somebody said, yeah, but if you went back to your high school self and said you'd get to play college at the school you went to, but, you're going to have to deal with whatever you're complaining about, you would have said, absolutely, I'll do it. And the response was like, well, yeah, but I've changed since high school. Right? When you're a sophomore in high school, you just want to play on varsity. When you're on varsity, you just want to start. When you start, you just want to be all conference, then get a scholarship, and then you want to go to college. And then once you do that, you want to start in college. And then you start thinking every time you accomplish a goal, you get up. And if you don't accomplish any of those goals that rise a little bit, you're going to be disappointed. So Duke, congratulations. I believe you've already achieved what I set out to be your expectations at the beginning of the year. Raise it. You're coming off your first loss of the season to Georgia Tech. Then you had a bye. That is great timing. New coach, new program. First time you got real punched in the face with a loss. You get to then go nurse your wounds, rest and ice and elevation on all your bruises, and come back after 2 weeks. That is great timing. Looking at the schedule ahead, it's Florida State at home. It's number 21 in the country, SMU, at home. On the road at number 6, Miami. At home against NC State. At home against Virginia Tech. And then on the road at Wake. 6 games left. I'm putting it here. 3 more wins or bust.
Okay. We factor in just the regular season?
Regular
not bowl game?
season.
Okay.
Just out of those 6, you win 50% of your games or bust. That would be an 8-win regular season with a bowl game to come.
Yeah, they should win Friday.
Should Florida State?
They should win Friday. They said Wake and State. I mean, to me, those feel like 3 wins right there.
I believe you should win. Well, I think it's fair to chalk up top 25 games as unlikely wins.
SMU would be at home.
Yep, 21 SMU, 6 Miami. If you want to win one of those, go ahead.
Hey, knock yourself out.
But there's 4 games there other than the ranked opponents. I think you win 3 of them.
Sure.
That's the new bar for we'll get excited about it. And then a bowl game to come. You win that, that's a 9-win season, which would match Mike Elko's year 1.
Mm-hmm.
Exceed Mike Elko's year 2. That's, to me, the goal. That's what it changed to. It's you are playing for this sentence. We didn't take a single step back from Mike Elko and Riley Leonard. We didn't take a single step back from one of the quote-unquote blue bloods breaking off a name, image, and likeness check for our quarterback and one of the oil company, oil-rich Texas schools breaking off a big old check for our coach, and we did not falter an ounce. We did not move back an inch. That's got to feel good to say. That has to feel good to say. And the only thing that's separating you and having the great feeling of saying that sentence is 3 wins out of your next 6. That is an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate the 5-1 start, but use the bye week as a differentiator. There's the little divider in the grocery store. That's their produce. I'm up here with this food. That's what it should be. That bye week divides you from the team that everybody thought we were and the team that we now know we are moving forward. Because at the beginning of the year, if you told me, hey, they're going to play 2 ranked opponents out of their last 6 games, if they win 1 or 2 of those total, I'd have been like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All conference games, mix of it home and on the road. You give me 2 out of those 6, I'd be like, yeah, sign me up. It's not enough anymore. It's not enough anymore because you're a team with bigger goals now. Yesterday's price was not today's price. Yesterday's you is not today's you. That's what future me's problem. Sometimes I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Saturday, you have some chores. You want to watch the NFL on Sunday. You let it rock and you go, that's future me's problem. Right? I'll get that done tomorrow. That's Sunday me's problem. Saturday me is going to enjoy college football. Duke, hey, if we start 5-1, all of a sudden people aren't going to be happy with 6 or 7 wins on the year anymore. Yeah, it's future you's problem. Right now, you go win the games. Now you get to the issue where a 7-win season might feel anticlimactic for Duke football.
You know what's crazy? Thinking just kind of popped in my head is that if Duke gets to 9 this season, if you factor in a bowl game, let's say they get to 9, 8 wins in the regular season, 9 overall. It's gonna be more than what State and Carolina are doing right now. And guess what? They're supposed to be having stability, right, with head coaches and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Duke got in a new head coach and a transfer QB, and yet they're still clicking.
It gives you so much lyrical ammunition where you can say it wasn't just Elko.
Yeah.
It wasn't we just got a good coach who came in and now it's Duke football is doing this. And the head coach, credit to Manny Diaz, I give him a lot of credit for what he's done, but it makes it seem like it's more Duke and less the coach if it's happening under multiple different regimes. Because there is a tendency, and actually I would say Duke is right at that level. Power 5 or 4, I don't know where, 4.5 conference football, but not the traditional football power. There's a lot of schools that go on nice little runs because they find a diamond in the rough quarterback recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, you get to compete at a higher level until that player leaves. And if that was Riley Leonard, there'd be no shame in that. Like they found a basketball player from Alabama that ended up being a really good quarterback during they found him during the COVID years. on the flip side of that is if you can prove you can do it with different quarterbacks, you can prove you can do it with different coaches, you become a more attractive football destination. Right? I think I've referenced this a few times. I'm like friend of a friend of a friend of someone on the Duke roster, and when Elko left, kind of middle people reached out and said, like, what do you think he should do? Should he leave? Should he stay? I went, I don't know, figure out who the next coach is and, see if you vibe, right? It's be open to everything. Transfer portal gives you options now. And I think part of it was like, what happens if this awesome program and game day and wins and night games leaves with Elko and I'm still here? Now if a coach leaves, you can go, well, Elko left and we still won 8 games the next year, if you win 8 games this year. It's an if, but looking at that schedule, I think it's a possibility. Congratulations, Duke. Now, if you don't have an 8-win season, we'll be disappointed. Seriously, congratulations.
Yeah, no, seriously.
That is an improvement. I understand it probably sounds like a daunting task, but it's an improvement.
It's realistic they can get to 10 wins. If you can't factor in bowl game.
If you factor in bowl, yeah, for sure. The 4 games that I said you should win 3 of, if you told me they won all 4 of those, I'm not jaw on the ground.
Wouldn't shock me if they beat SMU at home.
Would not shock me there. But at the same time, you could drop one you should
True.
win. So I think 3 more wins as a baseline is fair, plus bowl. Then we got to see who they're playing in the bowl and how do you match up and where is it and all the other things. But give Duke credit, man. I will raise my hand and say did not see it coming this year. Thought maybe the future, but not this year. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. While maybe for football we didn't see it coming, the preseason ACC basketball poll came out, and for Duke basketball, people do see it coming. They're first. I'll give you our reactions to everything else. The ACC Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, all ACC teams. The votes are in for the preseason, and we'll break it down next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Kevin Stefanski runs the risk of losing his job as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because if he continues to stay the course with Deshaun Watson, he's going to lose that locker room, and those guys are going to stop playing for him. If he benches Deshaun Watson in lieu of Jameis Winston, he's probably going to get fired by the owner sooner rather than later. So it is an impossible position that Kevin Stefanski finds himself in.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That means this is the best chance in 2 years to do a cash-out refi and unlock all that equity at an amazing rate. Loan Pronto has fixed loans under 5% APR, the lowest in 2 years. You can get a fast refi and get $50, $75, even $100,000 in cash. Use it to pay off all your credit cards, personal loans, car loans. You'll end up with one payment each month, and for most homeowners, they save over $850 every month. And if you want to keep your original mortgage intact, ask about the Loan Pronto Express Equity Line of Credit. If you act now, you could even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices,
Go to hims.com/joy.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hockey fans, here's a cool offer. BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is giving existing customers another reason to lace up and hit the ice this season. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and they're adding extra excitement to the goals, the checks, the face-offs, and the breakaways with an NHL Odds Boost token. Take your shot at extra winnings when you bet on NHL action with your favorite sports betting app, BetMGM. All you have to do is log into your existing BetMGM account today to receive your NHL Odds Boost token. Then simply add a hockey wager to your bet slip and activate your token. If your wager lights the lamp, you'll receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Now that is an epic power play. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as withdrawable bonus dollars. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned with Zero Res starting at just $119 and get a free dryer vent cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Preseason men's basketball, ACC, all ACC, preseason team rankings, rookie of the year. The results all came out yesterday.
Yeah, they dropped it at 6 o'clock last night. I was like, oh, great. Right when we started Overdrive.
Yeah.
Thanks, ACC.
But it did give us a day to react.
Again,
think about it. And I'm very confident of something.
What's that?
I'm very confident there's someone on the West Coast that doesn't get the ACC.
You think?
There is one vote that is for Cal's Jeremiah Wilkinson as the Rookie of the Year. And that is the only vote that robbed Cooper Flagg of Duke of being the unanimous choice.
You said Jeremiah Wilkinson?
Jeremiah Wilkinson.
Yeah, never heard of him.
That's probably because he's the 251st ranked national recruit, and he's playing for what is picked as the 3rd worst team in the ACC. He's roughly the 18th to 20th, depending on which recruiting service you look at. Best recruit from the state of Georgia.
Oh. Just from Georgia.
Yes, Cooper Flagg is the #1 recruit in the entire country.
Oh, okay.
Playing for a team that's picked to win the ACC.
Okay, yeah.
There's also one vote for preseason player of the year that goes to Stanford's Max Raynaud.
Who?
Now Raynaud's a good player. I'm not treating him like Wilkinson. He's a double-double guy, 7-footer for Stanford. But Stanford is picked to finish second to last in the ACC. And I don't know how good you'd have to be to win any kind of Player of the Year award from second to last out of 18 teams. I mean, I don't know if anyone on the Panthers could win MVP this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter how many yards Chuba Hubbard runs for, it'd have to be like 2,800 to win MVP out of second to last in the league.
I mean, unless Stanford goes on some crazy run and wins the league and he averages like 27 and 15, then okay.
Perhaps.
Then all right.
Perhaps, but there is this whole R.J. Davis defending ACC Player of the Year thing that's happening.
Oh, yeah, there's that guy.
And there's the previously mentioned Cooper Flagg.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Who, for Player of the Year, I'll give you the voting breakdown. R.J. Davis was the choice. He was the pick. 40 votes went to R.J. Davis, 10 to Cooper Flagg, 3 for Hunter Salas of Wake Forest,
all right,
and 1 of Raynaud from Stanford.
If this person that predicts this rookie player of the year, the newcomer of the year from Cal, and this guy from Stanford to be player of the year. I hope that person buys a lottery ticket if those two things come through.
I hope they parlay the two.
I think
if you genuinely think it's going to happen, you can get money off of that.
I think you can retire.
Is it probably not legal in California? I don't know how California politics work. R.J. Davis versus Cooper Flagg for ACC Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting. I think that's a good debate. Proven versus potential.
I would have picked R.J. Davis. If I had a vote, I would have gone R.J.
I agree, and but I can see why if you are everybody has different risk tolerance. If you're somebody who's a bit more like I see a high ceiling and a low floor, that doesn't scare me. I could see you going for Cooper Flagg. It's proven versus potential. It's old versus young. Obviously, it's UNC versus Duke. It's traditional scoring guard versus positionless unicorn. It's so many things going against each other that it's. I think R.J. Davis is the guy. I think he's going to be better from the jump. I think there will be less growing pains. But I also understand that if you get the A-plus version of those two players, it's going to be tough to pick against the A-plus version of Cooper Flagg for anybody. Speaking of UNC and Duke, combining for 2 all-conference first or second team picks is surprising. The 2 that we mentioned, Flagg and Davis, are first-team preseason all-ACC guys.
Makes sense.
Nobody else in the first or second team for UNC or Duke. Which is the reason why it's surprising is because I believe the national AP poll shows it. The voting for the ACC preseason poll shows it. Duke and UNC and Duke, whatever order you have them, they're in a tier of their own in the Atlantic Coast Conference. They are head and shoulders above the rest, at least going into the season with their talent level and expectations, barring something unforeseen. Yet Clemson has 2 on the first or second team, and they don't. That's like, could you predict a Tyrese Proctor bounce back year? Could you predict a Seth Trimble breakout year? Could you predict Ian Jackson or Common Malawash to live up to wildly high recruiting rankings as freshmen? Or kind of flip side, Con Knipple or Drake Powell, could you predict them being the more college-ready prospects, even maybe not the NBA prospects of somebody like Malawash or Jackson? I was surprised that UNC and Duke weren't more represented. You would think that it was Flagg and Davis and the Pips for each team based on the way a lot of this voting went down.
I could have seen. I think because Duke has so much turnover. Obviously, we all know the name Cooper Flagg, but Duke has so much turnover. If you wanted to say maybe Tyrese Proctor as the second team
breakout,
I could see that
bounce back, not breakout,
or foster one of those two guys. But with Carolina, R.J. Davis is coming back. There are 2 other heavy hitters with Baycott and Harrison Ingram are gone.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're like, all right, well, we kind of seen Jalen Washington a little bit. We've seen Cadeau. It's like, are they really going to make that big leap? And it's hard for me outside of like a generational prospect like a Cooper Flagg to really put a freshman on any of these kinds of teams, personally.
Okay. So then I guess Flagg would be...
So Flagg's the generational guy.
Okay.
Like, Flagg's a generational guy. Like I said, outside of that, for me, it's hard to put a freshman on one of these teams for preseason. But
I get down
for Carolina, if Harrison Ingram...
if that's your justification, I can get down with
that. If Harrison Ingram had returned, I would have voted him first team. Probably coming back. I mean, he would have been on one of those 2 teams for sure. If Baycott came back for his 27th year of college basketball, I probably would have put him there.
He would have been a 9-time All-ACC preseason pick.
But yeah, I know, right? But like Shiflin, for example, from Clemson, who was a second-team All-ACC selection for preseason, was an honorable mention player last year. So people have seen his name on the list with conference team. That's generally why those guys get votes.
I'll give you the rest of the list. It's R.J. Davis of North Carolina, Hunter Salas of Wake Forest.
Lock.
I have no idea how he wasn't unanimous.
He should have been.
R.J. Davis was unanimous with 54. Hunter Salas and I think Cooper Flagg both should have been unanimous. They both came up 2 votes short. I hope that whoever didn't vote for Cooper Flagg for first team has the rule you have. They're just like, I just don't do freshmen.
That's fair.
I just don't do it.
And I can respect that.
Hunter Salas, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Marcus Burton from Notre Dame, also a first-teamer, as is Nigel Pack from Miami. Second team, you brought up Shiflin from Clemson, Chase Hunter from Clemson, Jameer Watkins from Florida State, Bai Ndongo from Georgia Tech, was a stud freshman last year, looking to build on it, and Ish Leggett from Pitt. Those are the second teamers.
I think this also goes to show you that, only Duke and Carolina each only had one guy. But the talent across the league is great.
Yes.
The talent across the league is stacked.
I agree with that. And there's a few guys that could really break out. I think Ndongo, who I mentioned, could really break out. Even if somebody like Raynaud from Stanford, I could see him as a second team All ACC pick. He's 7 foot. He can double it up. I just don't see him anywhere near preseason or ACC Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, to wrap up kind of our reactions to this, just to the voting in the polls, team rankings. Duke really dominating. 42 first place votes, they're in first.
Makes sense.
North Carolina in second, 11 first place votes. But in total points, they're actually pretty close.
Okay.
So basically, everyone that has Duke at 1 had Carolina at 2. Everybody had Carolina at 2, had Duke at 1, which makes sense. Wake Forest in third, Clemson, then Virginia, Miami, Pitt, NC State squeaks into the top half of the league, followed by Louisville, Notre Dame, Syracuse, and then it gets worse from there. Again, just playing up the tiers thing that I was talking about, they have points for rankings. So, if first place vote is worth 25 points, second, whatever the math is. Duke has 956. North Carolina has 924. Very, very close. The gap between North Carolina and Wake Forest, second and third, is the next, if you did, is this similar gap to third to seventh. So those two guys, the Duke and UNC, are head and shoulders in expectations above everyone else. Wake Forest in third, I think, makes sense. Clemson, Virginia, Miami, I'd put them in the next tier with Pitt, that next group. You could shuffle that up however you want, and I'd be fine with it. And then State is going to, chip on your shoulder again, go shock the world. You're in eighth.
Yeah. Honestly, those schools you mentioned between Wake, Virginia, Pitt, NC State,
Clemson,
Miami, you can give me an order of any of those schools, put them in order, and I go, yeah, all right, I'd see it.
I think it makes a little bit of sense to just say Wake should be at least towards the top of that group because of their returners. I'm a big Hunter Salas fan. But other than that, it's, yes, you want to pick them out of a hat and we can come up with reasons for why it should be that way. We could do it. Boston College, dead last. Just give you the bookends.
There's that.
Speaking of ACC basketball, there kind of was ACC basketball last night.
Yeah.
UNC in a scrimmage for charity against Memphis on the road at Memphis.
Actual road game for them.
Which apparently, it felt like a road game. The fans were into it. Memphis started hot, and the crowd got into it right away.
And even Hubert Davis even mentioned postgame it was good for his guys to actually experience getting on the road because he said, our second game of the year, we're on the road at Kansas. We don't want that our first experience for guys like Drake Powell and Ian Jackson, their first road experience to be that. Hey, let's get to the routine of the shoot around, the meal, the prep, the travel, all that kind of stuff. Go ahead and get that feeling out of the way. Experience it once before you actually have to do it.
And they won, which is always nice, 84-76.
Always good.
Here's my takeaway. UNC is going to be different. This is not a team that, we're going to change up a couple guys. They're going to have to change the way they play. I don't think it's for the worse, but it's for the different. Now, the one acknowledgement here is R.J. Davis didn't play. He had a hard fall at practice the other day, so they don't want to rush him out there for live game action against another team. So he didn't play, which is going to make him feel way more different.
Mm-hmm.
But UNC is not as big and not as powerful as they have been, but they can run.
Yeah, they're kind of small.
They traded in some shot putters for some sprinters. They lost some power, lost some size. They can run, which is going to open them up to different flaws, right? They might not be able to just rebound the heck out of the ball like we've seen for the last 5 years. Matter of fact, Memphis opened the game with 5 offensive rebounds, before the first TV timeout. They played this one like a game, so they had the TV timeouts, right? The 4-minute, the 8-minute, all that stuff. Before the first TV timeout, Memphis already had 5 offensive rebounds. But guess what? They can run. And this is like a leveling up in athleticism. And Seth Trimble, 33-point night. People are calling it a breakout. People are calling it, oh, he's leveled up. I would caution that. It was one scrimmage, one exhibition. But what I will say is, guess what Seth Trimble is? Athletic. He is fast. He is bouncy. He's got springs in his feet. I always say when you put an extra syllable into the term athletic or athlete, it makes you sound way more athletic. Meaning, like Seth Trimble, he is an athlete. Like, he can go. Now, if we went back last year, year before, whatever, in this little exhibition, Armando Bacot might have had 33. It's within the realm of possibilities. It wouldn't look remotely like the 33 Seth Trimble got. And that's as different as they are. R.J. Davis, when he returns, Ian Jackson, the freshman, Drake Powell, the freshman, they can go. I'll tell you what UNC has a bunch of. Maybe outside of like Jalen Washington because he's just so tall, and Withers because their height, but they're mobile bigs. UNC has a ton of guys that I would try to convince to come out for football in the fall. Like if I were at their high school, I'd be going like, "Come on, man."
Now you're 6'2", 200, man.
Like, dude, it's red zone is rebounding. Just let me throw a couple jump balls. And they, of course, would say, no, I'm a 5-star and I have a ton of offers for basketball. I'm not risking it getting hit by some over-eager free safety from the town over. But that's what I see when I see this team. They can go. They might not rebound, but once they get the ball, lightning. Elliot Cadeau had 13 assists.
Mm-hmm.
That is a point guard that is – He's got thoroughbreds all over the court, and he's just lining it up. Here you go. Catch it on the run. I'm leading you to the bucket. But again, there will be games. This is the concern. The nice part, especially for fans, it's gonna be so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. The concern is if you're not hitting shots, do you have a lot of one and done possessions? Do you have a lot of opposing teams getting 2 and 3 chances because they're offensive rebounding? You're going to have to rebound with your guards. Guys like Trimble, who are athletic, 6'3", 6'4", they're going to have to go down and mix it up with the bigs. The freshmen are going to have to rebound at a high level, which doesn't always happen. And Withers and Washington are going to have to play. They're tall enough. They're going to have to play stronger maybe than their body types imply. Mm-hmm. And Hubert Davis, as we'll play right here, head coach after the game, Hubert Davis thinks they need to be more aggressive, which I think every coach is saying about this time of year.
Well, I think it was 2 parts. One, from an offensive standpoint, one of the things that we always talk about is dominating points in the paint through post or penetration. I felt like we were settling for too many threes, particularly in the first half, and so we weren't putting pressure on the rim, and we weren't living in the paint, living at the free throw line. Then defensively, we just weren't physical or strong enough, particularly in terms of getting rebounds. We were loose balls, rebounds. We weren't getting 2 hands on it. We weren't being strong with it. And we identified and talked about if we can do those 2 things, obviously more than those 2, but just offensively get the shots that we want closer to the basket and then be able to finish a possession with the rebound, that it'll really put us in a position to be successful in the game today.
Here's the thing. Talking about getting to the free throw line, UNC will get to the free throw line. When your feet aren't fast enough, your hands grab. And there's going to be defensive players that are just not fast enough to keep up with some of these guys. They're going to go to the free throw line. They're going to draw those looks. It's to me, what Hubert was talking about, which is physicality, particularly on the defensive boards. And by the way, like, let me be clear here. When I talk about UNC basketball, I'm talking about the Tar Heels. I'm talking about North Carolina basketball. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about what may hinder them in, the ACC tournament quarters, semis, and finals. I'm talking about what may hinder them, against Kansas. I'm not talking they can rebound with middle of the road Power 5 teams all day because they're good. But when you are North Carolina, you don't get excited by wins over middle of the road Power Conference teams. You're counting in banners. So I'm looking at things that they will have to play better, do better in order to hang a banner, rather than like, if they don't rebound, they're going to be under 500. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Mm-hmm.
I still see them as even if they don't get the rebounding together, 15th in the country team. And if they do, sky's the limit.
We'll have to do an ACC cons and cons coming up here in the near future.
Darn right. ACC basketball cons and cons? That might be the most predicting one. UNC, rebounding, big dudes, which is so funny because you have Harrison Ingram and Armando Bacot last year. You're like, that's 30 rebounds, just those two guys. So
yeah,
don't got to worry about that. Check. This year it's going to be a little different. I just want to play this clip because I think it's hilarious. Hubert Davis, he thinks they can play even faster.
I think we should play faster. I felt like the pace was getting to where we wanted to in the second half, but the pace was able to get there because we were getting stops and rebounds. That's what, and I tell the guys, what has to fuel us is our efficiency on the defensive end. We get stops, we get rebounds, then we can go and we can run. I felt like it was better in the second half, but I feel that we ran really well for October 15th. It's nowhere near where I want to be throughout the season.
Runoff makes. I'd like UNC is obviously so much more skilled than this, but it's the Coach Carter scene where all they do in practice is run gassers and suicides and to the baseline, and then they come up on their first game and they, Coach, we didn't go over any offense. What are we supposed to do when we have the ball? Well, what do we do in practice? Run. That's what I want you to do. When you get the ball, run. I kind of want UNC to be that, right? You get it, they make a bucket, inbound and run. They miss a bucket, rebound and run. You get a steal, run. And I want to watch it, and I want to have a good time doing it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. With the last few minutes of this hour here, Jonathan Brooks for the Panthers. He has officially opened his 21-day practice window from the injured reserve.
Let's go.
Which means he can practice with the team for 21 days. And that will, within that time, they have to decide whether to activate him, which they can do at any time now, put him on the active roster and play him. Or if he doesn't play at the end of those 21 days, he's done for the year. He was practicing today. There's some clips on social media. I can tell you this, with a helmet on and not many other pads, he can run.
Yeah.
He can run around bags. He can run touch lines. He can hold the football and run. Let's go. This is what I have with Jonathan Brooks. This is how I'm treating Jonathan Brooks. I'm treating the Panthers opening his trade window, his practice window.
I say trade window.
I read the word trade. I guess it's a trade window too. Now you can trade him to a team that wants to play him.
Yeah, don't.
I'm celebrating them opening his practice window the way they say you should celebrate if you win the lottery, which is be happy and change nothing for 6 months. Right? They say, like, don't go buy a house. Don't quit your job. If you win $100 million, do everything the same for 6 months while you figure out, trusts and money and da-da-da-da-da. I'm saying, like, Jonathan Brooks, he's practicing. Yes. I'm not changing anything for 6 weeks. Right? He's not the spark the offense needs. It's unfair to ask him to be yet. He should be depended upon 0. Whatever he gives you this year, gravy. It's icing. It's on the top. You knew the deal when you drafted Jonathan Brooks. He was coming off a serious knee injury. Don't get antsy now. And it's like, he's practicing. Let's give him the ball 12 times. No. Matter of fact, that's the only reason you got him in the second round when you did, is because he was coming off a knee injury and everybody knew he wasn't going to be playing. Chuba Hubbard, I'm still saying give him more touches. So I'm not going to be in a rush to introduce more competition in the backfield. If Chuba Hubbard's getting 18 touches, I'm saying he needs to get 26. I'm not going, and work 4 new ones in for Jonathan Brooks. Chuba will be fine taking on more volume. Jonathan Brooks' superpower, if you want to call it that, the thing that makes him special is his ability to break big plays. He averaged over 6 yards a carry in college. That is going to be the last thing that returns after a knee injury. The vision, the hands, the power, that all comes first, and then the breakaway ability comes last. Give him time. Be excited. Hey, we just won the Jonathan Brooks lottery. I'm going to work tomorrow. Like, what? You just won $100 million. You're not quitting your job? No, I'm going to get everything settled. I'm going to make sure it's all perfect, and then I'm going to make big life changes. Go buy a private island and a helicopter, and you'll never hear from me again. Jonathan Brooks practicing is awesome, and I'm going to analyze it like it's the Zapruder film every time we get a practice clip of him in 7-on-7 or him in 1-on-1s or anything. But then I am hopefully going to be able to be a buzzkill on my own excitement and say Jonathan Brooks is a 2025 thing. Now, perhaps if you had won 3 of your first 6 games and the running game was struggling, then it's like, all right, do we weigh the option here of maybe using him to be that spark? But the fact of the matter is you've won 1 game and the running game has not been the issue.
Far from it.
You have reinforcements coming to the one place that you don't need reinforcements. If he were a edge rusher, I'd be going third downs at least, get him in the game. Let's see if it can happen. If he were a corner, if he were a safety, if he were an off-ball linebacker, if he were a tight end, I'd be finding ways to get him in the game. If he were a quarterback, I'd be thinking about it. But he's not any of those things. He's a running back. So be patient. It'll feel like forever, but be patient.
My guess is he doesn't play in at least the next 2 games. He's definitely not playing this Sunday in Washington. Probably not going to play next week in Denver. Maybe the November 3rd game against New Orleans at Bank of America he comes back, because then they have that game. Then they have the Giants game over in Germany when they play in New York. And then they have a bye week after that. It's hey, you know what? Work him in for a couple of games, then a bye week, then you can really ramp him up full.
That New York game is in Germany.
Yeah, the Germany game, yep.
Which, I don't know. I mean, that's just strange for a player who you might want to be monitoring swelling and things. But, again, if you want to activate him, I would be fine with 20 days, 24 hours, and 59 minutes is when you activate him, because that's the last possible moment you can do him and keep him active this year. I'd be fine with that. I'm excited. I'm paying attention. And I'm chilling.
By the way, real quick, Sam Franklin, defensive back, who's one of their key special teamers and a special teams captain, he started his 21-day practice window today, as well as rookie 6th-round pick Jaden Crumity, who got hurt in the first preseason game. Also practicing. That 21-day window just opened for those 2 guys.
There you go. Sam Franklin, stud on special teams.
Yep.
Crumity, we'll see. 6th-round pick.
To be determined.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of the Panthers, if we acknowledge the goals of competing in the division, making the playoffs, being above 500 have kind of gone out the window, what mini goals do you want to see him accomplish? What small victories can the Panthers still achieve? Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I don't know what it says about football in the state of North Carolina, but there isn't an FBS team other than Duke that is having even an okay year. I mean, maybe Charlotte's having an okay year. I didn't think that program was in good shape, but at least they're 3-3, and they just beat ECU by 31. What is going on? Maybe this is just the way it is.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a chilly afternoon out there. A high of only 60 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, but a quick shower right around the evening commute. A cold night tonight. Our first frost advisory of this season. Looking at 38 overnight tonight. That frost advisory will be just west of Raleigh. A chilly day tomorrow, too. Lots of sunshine, but a high of only 62.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 338 points to 43,078.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. Time to set some mini goals. You need smaller goals outside of the big season goals if you're a Panther or a Panthers fan or a Panthers front office executive, simply so you can have some small victories for the rest of the year. Right? If you're just judging by, hey, did we win games, then the rest of the year is going to be mighty, mighty, mighty disheartening. Hey, did we compete for the division? Well, for the next 3 months, you're just going to be like, no. It's actually, do you know what it reminds me of? I used to cover Virginia Tech professionally. Like I worked for the flagship for the Hokies. And it had been a decade plus since they played West Virginia in football. And they have a trophy, the Black Diamond Trophy, for that rivalry between Virginia Tech and West Virginia. And there was a Twitter account that just was, did West Virginia take back the Black Diamond Trophy today? That was like the name of the Twitter account. And every day they just tweeted no, because they didn't play. They didn't play for like a decade. So for a decade, every single day, you just got the tweet, no. So if you judge the Panthers season by, are they going to win 7 games or not? Every day for the rest of the season, you're just going to wake up and go, no. And that's going to get disheartening. So I thought we could set some smaller goals, some statistical goals, some gameplay goals that you might wake up and go, hey, yeah, we are going to accomplish that this week. Hey, we are going to accomplish that this season. There is a mini goal that we can say we won, a victory. You need smaller goals just to make yourself sane. I have a few. Dennis, do you have a few?
Yeah, I got a couple.
All right. I'll lead off, but I have a feeling this one's going to be similar because I know how we both think of the Panthers. Xavier Legette, first-round rookie wide receiver. I want his targets and his average depth of target to grow every month for the rest of the season. So whatever his average targets per game are right now, it's probably like 3.5.
Yeah, just something about 4, I think.
Yeah. If that's how many targets he's averaging per game, all I ask is that next month, right, the next batch of 4 or 5 games, it's a little more. If it's 4 now, it's 4.5. If it's 4 now, it could be 5. It could be 6. Just whatever it is. And then the next month, more. And then the next month, more. He's a raw prospect, right? That's what everybody said. So as you polish that raw prospect, as you turn that diamond in the rough into just a diamond, trust him more, give him more opportunities. And then the second part of that, his average depth of target, I want it to grow every month. I think he has the skill set to go get it. I was watching the way Josh Allen treats Keon Coleman, and it's going to be different now because Amari Cooper just got traded there. But Josh Allen fully trusts Keon Coleman in 50-50 ball scenarios. Keon Coleman did that very well at Florida State. We all saw it. But Josh Allen is not afraid to just chuck one up down there. I want to see if Xavier Legette has that. And the only way to find that out is to give him plenty of opportunities downfield to make plays, whether it's getting separation downfield or throwing it to him even when he doesn't have separation downfield. So for now, yeah, give him the quick screen, give him the shallow cross, give him the hitch, the slant. As the season goes along, give him more posts, give him more go routes, give him more deep overs on rollouts when he's on the backside. I want his targets and his depth of targets, where he is when the ball is reaching him. I want that to grow each month for the rest of the season. I think that's a goal they can accomplish. Dennis, what do you got?
I was actually going to go along the same lines of that, a little bit more simplified. I just want to see, on a per-game basis, the last half of the year, Xavier Legette just getting 6 targets per game.
6 per?
Like
That's
6
fine.
per. Like just something more tangible like that. Like, yeah, sure, more deeper shots and things like that downfield. I think that would just come with more targets towards him. But just 6 targets per game.
Do you
over the last 8 games of the season, like building up to it, but 6 targets per game.
Do you have an idea where you're finding those targets?
Ideally, I actually like him catching passes over the middle, like somewhere around that, like the 10 to 12 yard range where he can catch and run.
Sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant whose targets is he taking? Is
Oh,
it Deontay
who's he
Johnson getting
taking?
less? Is it the tight ends getting less? Because I know you want him to run the ball more. I listen to Panthers playbook, so I know you want him to run the ball more. What receiver gets less?
Well, he kind of already got less this last game was Mingo.
That's fair.
But I'm also factoring in there's a possibility that maybe Deontay Johnson or Adam Thielen are traded. So I think that's where a possibility that those could come from them as well.
That's fair.
And no more passes to Ian Thomas.
That leads me into no more passes to Ian Thomas. I agree
That's
with
an
that.
easy attainable. No more passes to Ian Thomas. That's
He
an
had,
easy
what,
goal.
3 or 4 this past
4.
week? Give all 4 of those to Xavier. I'm fine
Yeah,
with that.
exactly. Done. Settled. That would have given him 7 for the game or 8 for the game.
That leads
Easy.
me. That leads me to my next one. A goal that I think they can accomplish is to finish the year in the bottom half of the league in pass percentage. Okay, now this may be a very specific stat, but pass percentage is simply how many of your plays are called passes. And right now, the Panthers are passing on 60.94% of their plays.
Okay.
That is the 9th highest rate of passing in the league.
Well, you're trailing a lot.
Obviously, yep, right there. Obviously, the teams with the lead run more. So I'm not asking, like, if I thought the Panthers could be ahead in some of these games, I'd want them to be top 5 in run rate. I'd want them to be the Ravens and then you, because even I can't catch the Ravens in run rate.
Yeah.
But I think you should be 17th or lower in how the percentage of plays you call that are passes, which would mean A, they're dedicated to the run. B, I believe that would mean Dave Canales is getting closer to running the offense the way he wants to, because we've seen in the past, he's a guy that likes to start with the run and then pass off of that. And then I also would say it would be you're more competitive in games. It would mean whether you're winning or not, you aren't being forced to abandon the run halfway through the first quarter, like we saw, in weeks 1 and 2. So I think it's a tangible goal to just be 17th or lower in pass percentage, which would mean you're doing things the way I believe Dave Canales wants to do them. Do you have another one?
I was about to say the way Atlanta played this past Sunday against Carolina, where between Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, they had 33 carries, And I think
And Drake London still got his.
And so- and I want to say that
Leggett still get his, and Kyle Pitts still got his.
I was saying Cousins, I think, threw 30 times in the game or something around that. Like, that's Dave Canales' dream, I think, right there. I actually want to see this team in every game from henceforth, at least one play of 30 yards. And over the course of the rest of the year, I want to see 4 plays of 40 plus.
I
want to see more big plays.
I can't believe I didn't have this.
Yeah.
I hate the lack of explosive plays. Hate it. There's, I believe, still no 40-yard plays this year.
No, Chuba Hubbard got stopped by the goal line on
2 38-yard runs. But other teams, they score touchdowns too, and they have explosive plays. I hate that the only way this team can score is by 8-play drives. I want a 1-play drive. I want to feel the punt at your own 35 and score the next play. You're however many. What'd you say? 4 40-plus plays?
Yeah. Between now and the rest of the year?
I want 8.
Oh, yeah.
Try for it. If you can't have a 40-yard play if all your routes are stop routes 7 yards downfield. Send guys deep. My last one here, and I want to get a defensive one. J.C. Horn, I want 5 turnovers on the season. He already has 1. He has 4 in his first 3 years of his career. So I'm asking, it's a tall ask, but you're J.C. Horn. From this point to the end of the year, I want 4 more turnovers. I don't care if it's a fumble recovery. I don't care if it's a forced fumble that your team recovers or an interception. I want you to be a main character in 4 more turnovers because that's the next step for him. It's not enough to just be within arm's distance of most wide receivers that you're guarding and have a low quarterback rating against and occasionally give up a big play. It needs to be you're always in good position. You have a low quarterback rating against. Occasionally you give up a play because everybody does, but occasionally you make the crazy play as well to even that out. I need more turnovers from J.C. Horn.
My final one is actually a defensive one as well. This past game, by my count, they blitzed 8 times out of 64 meaningful plays against Atlanta. That's 12.5%. I need that doubled. I need that double because right now what you're doing defensively doesn't work. Fine. Blitz more, try and create more havoc because otherwise they're still scoring anyway. Might as well have a little fun doing it.
I like that multiple of ours are 100% in their control.
Yes.
Because big plays, get turnovers, those are in part they're not just you, right? You can't intercept a ball that's not thrown near you.
Yeah.
You can't have a big play if the opposing team's defense is the 85 Bears. I understand that. But I don't know why I always use 85 Bears. The 2002 Bucks. I'm just picking
the 08 Steelers.
Another great defense. But then things like what you were saying, blitz more. Things like what I was saying, run the ball at a higher percentage. Targets towards a player, the type of targets a player gets, those are 100% in your control. Those are choices, right? Those aren't, I hope to do this. Those are, if I choose to do it, I can guarantee it, right? It's why players and coaches can't bet on stuff because there's certain things they can just control. That's what I think the Panthers should focus in on. Is your roster good enough? Do you have the talent? Are injuries killing your defense? Out of your control. Focus in on the type of team you want to be, the plays you want to run, and the things that you can control. And then you can celebrate a couple mini goal victories that we just set. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. I finally made it out to Bailey's Fine Jewelry over the weekend. They had their Rolex event going on, their pre-owned Rolex event. So the wife and I and the youngster made it out to the store. It was also my first time checking out the Glashütte Original Watchmaking Company display, which I feel like I have to say it like that because it's so elegant, but it's spelled like Glashütte. It is founded in 1994, but the history of their German watchmaking goes back to 1845. It's in the main display case, so you or display room. You walk in, it's all the way against the wall to the left, just to the right of the Omega Boutique. And like I said, class, elegance. If I were going to something that I had to wear a tuxedo, I would love to have a Glashütte Original on my wrist. But also, if you can pull it off, right? Wearing something that classy, maybe without the tuxedo, makes you feel like a million trillion bucks. So check it out. It's pretty much brand new. They just had the partnership, so they have all of the originality, the tradition of Glashütte Original mixed in with the innovative watchmaking and timepiece mechanisms and movements. It's a really, really cool watch company. And if you're into watches, if you're into timepieces, like obviously I am, Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location, Glashütte Original, left side of the main display room, the Omega Boutique, the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, the Blanc Pond display. It's all there. There's literally nothing else you could ask for. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. When we come back, Dennis and I still locking horns in a ladder gambling competition. Who will survive? Stick around.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. On the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Adam Golden Studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good luck.
Thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're fast.
Good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. On a Wednesday, by the way. Doesn't feel like a Wednesday. Too much going on to be a Wednesday.
I know. It was actually kind of cool last night. I caught a little bit of it. I was at the Canes game working, but I was able to catch up on it this morning. Just college basketball. Like seeing UNC play last night. Like, college basketball's here. MLB playoffs. There's hockey going on. We have Tuesday college football.
Last night I was watching the Canes game, and watching the South Alabama Troy game because of our ladder competition. I watched until my bet hit. For those of you that haven't caught up on it, Dennis and I are in what we call a ladder competition. It's like a ladder challenge. If you're on TikTok, you may have seen it. If you're in the sports gambling TikTok world, which never thought I'd say those words.
Yep, right.
But basically, the deal is you're supposed to take like $10, and every single day bet a likely to win bet. You're looking at -1,000, -800, something along those lines, and you roll over the winnings. So if you hit today, you put the stake plus whatever you won into the next bet, and you do that every day for a month. And the power of compound interest says you should have way more money at the end of the month without ever having to put a unlikely to win bet down. You don't have to go, bet on some crazy thing to happen. What are we going into? Day 4? Day 3?
Day 3, yeah, because we started Monday.
We've both hit, but we're doing it against each other. We're seeing who has the most money at the end of the month. Which, if you go busto, if you lose a bet, you can re-up, but you have to start all the way back at the beginning. Yesterday, my wide receiver Pritchett for South Alabama over 40. It was not pretty. It was actually a hideous game. I was watching it going, why did I make myself watch this? But it did hit. I did win. So we are on to the next. Dennis, your bet also hit, I believe?
Yes, I had the Florida Panthers plus 3.5 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, an alternate spread line at -800. And the Florida Panthers just won straight up 4-3. So that was basically like taking candy from a baby.
Oh, getting a little
that was
overconfident
lock.
over there.
Lock.
So I am now up to $12.30.
Look at you.
Starting with $10. And today, my bet. Do you want to go first or second? I feel like
I'll go second this time.
Right. I'm going back to football.
Okay.
Going back to college football. I am going back.
Action here.
Going back to a wide receiver for 40-plus receiving yards.
Okay.
It is Keyshawn or Kaishawn, I don't know how to pronounce it, Johnson for Western Kentucky against Sam Houston State. Would you like the justification?
Please.
Okay. So actually my old head coach, the head coach that was my head coach at Delaware for 4 years, K.C. Keeler, is now the head coach at Sam Houston State. Sam Houston is favored to win this one over Western Kentucky. You may be saying, wait a second, so the coach of one team, they're favored to win. You're betting on a wide receiver to go over 40 yards for the other team? Exactly. K.C. Keeler, I don't always agree with everything he does. Don't always agree with everything he did when I was playing. But he has won 266 games against only 110 losses, which puts him 4th amongst all levels of college football active head coaches and wins. He is behind only Kevin Donnelly, not pronounced or spelled like my name, of University of St. Francis, Mac Brown, Brian Kelly, and K.C. Keeler. That's it.
Okay.
So Sam Houston is going to be ahead. They're favored. They have one of the winningest head coaches in college football history. And Western Kentucky is a team that loves to chuck it around. They're a team that notoriously throws it. So Keyshawn or Kaishawn Johnson as their number 1 wide receiver to hit 40-plus yards receiving in the game. I love it. He has easily hit the over in every game this season except for one game. And they were playing Alabama and lost 63-0. I don't consider Sam Houston State Alabama. So I do consider Sam Houston State to win the game. But give me Keyshawn or Kaishawn Johnson, Western Kentucky wide receiver, over 40 receiving yards. And once it hits, we'll do it all over again tomorrow.
Okay.
-800, by the way.
-800. L.A. Kings versus Toronto Maple Leafs. Kings are 1-0-2 on the season. So their 2 losses came in overtime, so they've never been blown out, and they also have 1 win on top of that. Give me the L.A. Kings on an alt spread line against the Toronto Maple Leafs, plus 3.5 against Toronto, -1,000.
It does feel like these spreads you're finding on hockey are very, very big. The being a 3.5 in hockey.
Get a plus 3.5 alternate spread line at minus 1,000.
They do feel like you found a little honey hole.
I think I did.
We'll see.
I really think I did.
Because we did plus 2.5 for a Canes game earlier this year, the opener. And
we got beer league.
And they got 2 empty netters to ruin that one.
But that's why I got plus 3.5 here, Tim. Plus 3.5.
I have baked in the 2 empty netters into my projections.
You know what? They could lose 5-2, and I'm still feeling all right.
All right, one more time. Keyshawn Johnson, Western Kentucky wide receiver, over 40 receiving yards against Sam Houston State tonight. Tail it if you want. And
LA Kings plus 3.5 alt spread line at the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Tail it if you dare.
Minus 1,000.
Tail it. See, I like mine because I watched the game until he hit 40 and then I stopped.
Yep.
You got to watch all the way to the end. There might be 4 empty netters.
That would be probably a record. Outside of a playoff game, that'd probably be a record.
True. With that being said, we'll see who wins at the end of the month. For right here, right now, let's jump into Hit It and Quit It. Hit It and Quit It. We line up the biggest stories in sports, and we line them up and knock them down, starting with Major League Baseball playoffs.
Speaking of who wins at the end of the month.
Sometimes I feel like it takes seven months for the Major League Baseball playoffs to wrap up. But no, it actually, they'll go into November at least.
Yeah, early November, but not that far.
Tonight we have Dodgers-Mets. The series is tied 1-1.
Hey, your Mets.
My Mets.
Your Mets, Tim.
No, trust me, no one is shying away from it now. We're evened up through 2 in the NLCS. At one point in time, we were 11 games under 500.
Grimace showed up.
Then Grimace showed up, and I saw somebody. Did you see the snake in the Dodgers locker room?
No.
In Game 2, not locker room, dugout.
Okay.
There was a snake on the steps of the Dodgers dugout. Just the tiniest snake. It's like a
I don't care.
If you put like 2 pens or pencils next to each other, like that's the size of the snake. And of course, it's funny. The Dodgers, they showed it on the broadcast, and I saw somebody tweet out, if the Mets found a snake in their dugout, they would raise it and it would become a good luck charm. They would keep it in the dugout. It would be a thing. They'd give it a name. They'd call it Grimace Jr. And it would rally. They'd rally around it. They'd all be on second base after doubles, making hissing noises because the Mets just embrace that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, for the Dodgers, it was like, oh, ha ha ha, snake. All right, back to the game. It's true though. That's kind of the Mets' personality right now. Is they run with it. Walker Buehler versus Luis Severino. I'm hoping for big things for Sevy. I think it's a good matchup for him. And not for nothing, but Walker Buehler's postseason ERA is 10.8. Just throwing that out there. Let's go, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor. Anything you'd like to add?
I hope this series goes to 7.
I hope.
By the way, there was a lot of conversation of if Shohei Ohtani should get moved down in the lineup because leading off, I think he's 0 for in the playoffs, but when there's guys on base, he's 6 of 8 with guys on base.
So it's a mental thing. He needs to see people out there.
They're talking about maybe it's just him maybe chasing a few more pitches just because he's trying to spark offense. But they said, well, would you potentially move him down the lineup? He's been hitting leadoff basically all season for them. I was like, stick with what's worked for you.
People panic in the postseason. That is for darn sure. Also tonight there is the American League Championship Series Game 3, which the Yankees lead 2-0.
They do.
Or actually, this is tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow it is. Yeah, they got to travel.
Travel days. We're getting to one of my favorite parts of postseason baseball, which is where one team is backs against the wall desperate, and the other team is thinking about saving the bullpen for tomorrow. And it becomes this dichotomy of intensities. And the Yankees have to still obviously try to win, but they're thinking of the future, and the Indians aren't, or the Guardians aren't. So I'll be watching that one as well. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
You like that? You like that?
I'll bet Jackson Blake was probably thinking that at some point when he was screaming and yelling after he scored his first career goal last night, which, by the way, he said, I kind of blacked out.
Kane's rookie, by the way, second game of the year, first career goal, deflection right in front of the net.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, if I were in his shoes, I probably would have blacked out too. I probably would have blacked out as well. I actually had when I was in the locker room post game, he had a media scrum and everyone was around him. And everyone, kind of wrapped up. A lot of people were saying congrats to him. I walked up to him after everyone went to go talk to Shane Gostisbehere. I said, hey, man, hey, congrats on the goal. Because I had a chance to talk to him one-on-one during the preseason, during training camp. I said, yeah, I remember talking to you in the preseason, in the other locker room. He's like, yeah, that's right, because he remembered who I was. And I asked him, how's it feel being in this locker room? He just looked around for about 2 seconds and just goes, yeah, I like it over here. Just had a smile on his face. Yeah, I like it over here. It was kind of the thing. It's like, yeah, this is where I belong.
Do you know who else it's very cool for?
Mm-hmm.
Jason Blake.
His dad,
who
longtime NHLer.
213 goals. If I'm Jackson, you know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I'm taking the puck, first goal scorer, putting a piece of tape on it, taking a Sharpie. I'm saying 212 to go.
Yeah.
And I'm giving it to Pops.
Yeah.
And I'm giving it to Pops and saying I'm on you. I'm coming for you. Hopefully it ends up being that way. Jackson Blake, by the way, playing college hockey at this point last season.
Mm-hmm.
21 years old, in that locker room, learning from those guys. It's got to be just an awesome, crazy awesome experience.
It's an awesome moment.
And by the way, it ended up being the game winner, which is the most important.
That's true.
Go ahead, goal. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
We got better tonight.
Alim McNeil.
Yeah, speaking of cool moments.
What's cooler, your first NHL goal or the moment you put pen to paper on a 4-year, $97 million deal?
That.
Alim McNeil, former NC State. What high school did he go to?
Sanderson High School, right here in Raleigh.
You have memories of him at Sanderson, correct?
I did when I was doing some work with high school OT. I did play-by-play of him when he was a junior in high school, playing middle linebacker, like 260 pounds, running a 4.6, just tracking down wide receivers. It was wonderful.
He is now a 315-pound defensive tackle, nose tackle. He was a third-round pick in the 2021 draft for the Lions, and he's lived up to actually exceeded what you would think for a third-rounder out of NC State, and now he gets paid handsomely.
Yep.
There's a
$55 million guaranteed.
$55 million guaranteed.
He's been a great player for them. Really has been.
And that's like a good That's not a bad That's $55 million guaranteed. $97 million to play out the contract. $100 million essentially. What's $3 million to 97?
Nah.
Rounding error. There's a few things that confuse me about the NFL. One is like Lamar Jackson's abilities. Just confuses me. Another is the salary cap. How in the world do the Lions just keep paying everybody? They gave Jared Goff a new deal, Amon-Ra St. Brown a new deal. They gave this guy a new deal, that guy a new deal. Everybody gets a new deal. They gave Penei Sewell a new deal. You get a new deal. Decker gets a new deal. Now McNeil gets a new deal. Where's the money coming from, Detroit?
Well, it doesn't hurt that some of your top players are also on rookie contracts. Like you've hit well with Branch, with Campbell as a linebacker, with Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. All those guys are on rookie deals.
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, all those guys are on rookie deals, and they're in their second year.
You better win now.
They're all in on it now.
You better win now. That's actually a good point. A lot of them aren't, but still, they paid a bunch of guys too.
That's true.
How funny is that? 4 years, $97 million. You walk into the you're not even like big chip stacks at the table when the team plays poker.
Oh, you want to sit here now?
All right, you can sit here, but you're not the big chip stacks bully at the table. There's other guys and certain other guys that know they're gonna get paid more than that. It's absurd. But congrats to Alim McNeil. Goodness gracious, that's a lot of money, man.
Hey, good on him. Local guy, like I said, right here in Raleigh.
I'm all for everybody getting their money. Come back and spend some of it in Raleigh, right? Keep it local, huh? Let's quit that. Let's hit this. The NFL trade skillet is heating up.
Oh, it's hot.
A couple days ago on this show, the first trade was some defensive linemen from Jacksonville to Seattle. And I stopped the show and said, this isn't really breaking news that applies to like us locally, but it does show that the seal has been broken on trades in the NFL. Shout out to Frank from American Pickers. He just passed away recently. Did you ever watch American Pickers?
I did not, but I know of the show.
He just passed away recently. But for those of you that have watched American Pickers, they essentially just go like yard sailing around the country. they always talk about breaking the seal. They just want to buy something. They don't care if they buy like an antique pencil sharpener for $2. Just seeing money exchange hands makes it easier to then go buy like an antique neon Coke sign for $2,000. Like you just got to break the seal. That defensive lineman going from Jacksonville to Seattle broke the seal. Then there's Devontae Adams to the Jets.
Yep.
Then there's Amari Cooper to the Bills. Then there's Cam Akers, the running back, from the Texans to Minnesota. And like all of this is happening and pieces are moving. And what's happening now is you're starting to see like markets kind of be set.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say the Panthers should and likely will be some form of seller before the trade deadline. Seeing what Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams went for in a trade might give you an idea of what an Adam Thielen or a Deontay Johnson would go for in a trade. Right? With Cooper probably relating more to Deontay Johnson and Devontae Adams saying like, hey, 30-plus wide receiver, productive. He's going to bring in more than an Adam Thielen, but you get the idea. Also, Cam Akers, a running back who, quite frankly, hasn't had a ton of production, but does have a couple games in his career where it showed he could be a running back in the NFL. He goes for essentially a 6th and 7th round pick swap. Says something about the running back market. If you're going to be looking to trade Miles Sanders, if you're going to be looking to trade Chuba Hubbard, obviously you're going to ask for a bunch more than Cam Akers, but you're starting to see the market kind of decide or reveal how much these positions are going to be worth. If you are looking for a big return for the Panthers, I think it's good to see those positions being the ones that are active because those happen to be positions you have some players of value.
And eventually some team's going to get desperate because there's going to be an injury, and then you never know, hey, price goes up.
If you saw like off-ball linebackers on the move, it would be like, can't take advantage of that market.
Nope.
How's an injured Josie Jewell sound? I'll give you the dented can special. But it is, the NFL trades, you see less of them than some other sports, but the ones you do see can really help a rebuilding team. So the Panthers have to be at least making the calls, testing the market, see how it goes. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
The worst.
You know who wasn't the worst last night? Who was quite the opposite? Pyotr Kochetkov. He was awesome last night.
You're darn right he was.
92% save percentage and made some dandies, dare I say, Tim. Some dandy saves. Here's something about Kochetkov that I really enjoy about watching in his game is that even if he does let up a soft goal, like just the energy in which he plays with, like he's attacking the puck almost as a netminder as opposed to like, I'm just going to sit back here and just try and stop it. No, I'm going to go get this next save.
By the way, I know what you were saying, but just to clarify, you don't think he let up a softie last night?
No.
Okay, good.
I thought he kind of on Jack Hughes' goal, the first goal that the Devils scored. I think he was. Tracy said it during the broadcast that he was probably leaning, anticipating pass, and he wasn't quite ready for it on a 2-on-2. I wasn't the biggest fan of the goal. The second goal was a 5-on-3 power play, a bit of a scramble in front. I do not put that on him at all.
But I'll also say this: if Jack Hughes gets you on like a feint, like a little misdirection, gets you confused, in a transition, better goalies than the ones we're talking about have been had in that situation.
6th game of the year for Jack Hughes, and he hadn't scored yet. Yeah. He was due.
Exactly, he was going to get one.
One was going to find the net.
But you did touch on what I like, and we can cut hit and quit it here because I want to stay on this Pyotr Kochetkov thing for a second. You hit on what was confirmed in the first 2 games, and for me, and why I'm so adamant that it should be Pyotr Kochetkov's net. Freddie has a history. The other goalie who many think is kind of in the running for the goalie 1 ranking in or status in the Kane system, veteran, was goalie 1 last year when healthy. Freddie will let up a softie, right? Freddie's been known to play very, very well and have then just a really confusing goal allowed, which every goalie to an extent gives up a bad one, right? I mean, if you have maybe the legends, the Hall of Famers, sure, they can go stretches without doing it, but every goal is going to allow the bad ones. What Pyotr brings is he also stops some of the really, really good attacks. Where Freddie feels like if the opposing team has a great chance, he's just going to go darn. Not literally, but he's going to try to stop it. But it's just more often than not, his ceiling is kind of lowered. Meanwhile, Piotr has the highlight ability, and there weren't like any helicopter kick saves last night, but there were some where it's you very much would have not put it on the goalie if it got by him, and he stopped the puck multiple times. That's the thing that I'm so adamant about with Piotr. Piotr's best, I believe, is better than Freddie's best. Now, up to this point, there's also been some lower floors, right? There's also been some Freddie's floor might be higher. I hope the step this year is that Pyotr Kochetkov's floor is as high or higher than Freddie Anderson's floor. Because there's still the high-end stuff. There's still the poke check. There's still the crazy ones where you can't practice for this because you got knocked on your back and you're it's like a turtle on a shell and you just got to reach out there and get a skate on it. Like Kochetkov still has that. I just want him to get to the point where the bottom doesn't fall out as much, because to me that's the argument for Freddie is he's mid-30s, steady Eddie. You have a certain extent of comfort there, and you're. I don't want to say you're never comfortable with Piotr, but you're never breathing easy because you never know what's going to happen next. I just want him to be a little bit higher floor. But last night was a great game for Piotr. I'm nothing to make me change my opinion that it should be his net, his net, his net. And I hope it will be. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on to talk some football with a longtime NFL player, Mike Glennon, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Lower mortgage rates are finally here thanks to the Fed and Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Now, whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to give Loan Pronto a call and dump that high-rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate, folks, and you can do it fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. Also, there's no limit on how many times you can refi, so get started. Take advantage of this opportunity to get cash out and wipe out your credit cards. You can do a cash-out refi and get 50, 75, 100 grand or more out of your home. Use that to pay off all your high-interest debt and end up with just one low monthly payment. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, folks. So call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. VA Streamlined loans are also available with Loan Pronto. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Yesterday, Mike Glennon, longtime NFL quarterback, former NC State quarterback, stopped by the studio to talk a little pigskin. That conversation coming up next.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
10 seconds. Andy pumps, floats one back to the end zone. Oh! Brings it in! Xavier Leggett. He does the horse run, and the Panthers get the TD.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
When it comes to excellence, sometimes one name says it all. Sound Station and Security.
That's not one name.
True, but Sound Station and Security does so much, our name can't contain it all. We're famous for home theaters, automotive audio and video, and we do full service for your vehicle. Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tints, custom exhaust.
Is there an acronym for all that?
Don't even try. Just remember Sound Station and Security in Raleigh, Smithfield, and at myhotsound.com.
Did you know every 3 seconds someone is a victim of identity theft? LifeLock wants to give you helpful tips to protect your identity this Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Adding multi-factor authentication, like a text with a security code, is one way to boost your security. But for comprehensive protection, trust LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal info and steps in to resolve issues that arise, guaranteed or your money back. Protect yourself with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean with Zero Res starting at just $119. And get a free dryer vent cleaning with the purchase of an air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResRaleigh.com. Again, ZeroResRaleigh.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for our weekly visit with Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL veteran. There's a lot of quarterbacking stuff I want to get to here. But first, having the NFL quarterback that has been through the big hits and the all of the debates and everything, I just want to talk about Monday Night Football for a second because Aaron Rodgers got sacked, and it looked to me like every hit I've taken in my entire career, starting in like Pop Warner, and for some reason it was a roughing the passer. From your standpoint, aside from like, hey, if I'm playing, I don't want to get hit. Is it have we jumped the shark officially? Because that one was ridiculous.
It's gone way too far. I mean, Aaron Rodgers said it himself. I don't know what defenders are supposed to do. You know, you go across the board. Defensive linemen, they get.
You nudge quarterbacks to the ground and you're getting flags.
You get a clean sack and you get a penalty. Linebackers, the contact to the head. Defensive back, same thing. It's impossible for these guys. And college football is worse because not only do you get the penalty, but you get kicked out of the game. I'm for player safety, but it's just gone way too far. And as a quarterback, I'm saying that. Like, I love seeing Patrick Mahomes be able to play as many games as possible, and I understand why they want to protect him. But the fine line between protecting him and it just not even being football anymore, it's just gone too far.
I'm glad you see it the same way because I was watching going, I don't know, it seems like the defensive lineman, I mean, he was trying to strip the ball on the way down, which I guess is something that you can't even try to do because you put your weight on him. But actually, let me jump. There was a play in the Bengals game where the defensive lineman just stopped tackling Joe Burrow and he was able to escape and throw it away. And I assume it was the same idea where he's going like, oh, if I tackle this guy, I'm going to get a penalty.
Yeah, we talked about it in meetings. I remember like team meetings, head coach would talk to the defense lineman and be like, guys, they are calling this. Like whether you agree with it or not, you got to take it easy on the quarterbacks because it's not worth it at the end of the day because if we're getting 15 yards and they're getting an automatic first down, take them down easy, which just isn't fair. Because
take them down easy is so much more easily said than done.
Right.
You're flying 100 miles an hour there, and then just slam on the brakes and tuck them in.
It's a tough. It's tough on the defenders nowadays.
All right. Now that we're done ranting, I just wanted to get that out about the referees. Let's talk Panthers quarterback situation and less specific, right? Because Andy Dalton's playing okay. He's playing Andy Dalton level football. I don't think you expect him to be an MVP candidate. I don't think you expect him to be terrible, and he hasn't been either of those. The quarterback shuffle, though, is tough. They made their quarterback change from Bryce Young to Andy Dalton very early in the season, which means the shine of Andy Dalton now has already worn off. Your season is lost sitting with one win at this point in the season. Can you go back to Bryce? Should you go back to Bryce? Like, what's the
I think you should. It's like you said, the season's kind of, getting out of hand now. So let's focus on the future and let's give our number one pick from a year and a half ago another shot. And this will kind of be the final chance for us to decide, for him to prove that he should be our quarterback going forward. So I don't think it's likely Bryce Young is the future at quarterback, but I don't think that they need to completely turn the page on him yet. And with the season kind of getting out of hand, go back to him, see if he has learned something, see if he's benefited from sitting on the bench a few games, and if he has a chance to be your guy going forward.
Mike Glennon joining us here in studio on The Drive. There's two main pushback that I've heard for going back to Bryce. One is the lost the locker room argument. That was seen as why they made the switch as soon as they did after week 2, because other guys on the team were simply looking at the two quarterbacks and saying, why are you playing that guy over that guy? If that's why you made the change going back to Bryce, could you almost re-lose the locker room? Because you almost agreed with him, right? You made the switch to Andy Dalton. That's kind of giving credence to the naysayers of Bryce. Now you're going to go back to Bryce after your actions already said one thing. I think it could be mixed messages.
I don't think it would be, because I think, if Andy Dalton was on a 3-game win streak, but he's won one game. It's not like he's lighting the world on fire. He played great in that Raiders game. And if he kept playing like that, absolutely not. You cannot go back to Bryce. But at the end of the day, quarterbacks are typically judged on wins and losses. And right now, Andy's not winning. So I think the players in the locker room understand the business side of it as well, that the Panthers have to make a kind of a final verdict on Bryce Young. So I don't think that would be an issue in the locker room.
The other pushback, I said there were two, is the evaluation pushback, which is you need to evaluate Xavier Legette and Jatavian Sanders, and do you want to extend Deontay Johnson? And you need to make these decisions about other guys in the offense. And I guess the belief is Andy Dalton gives you a more true kind of evaluate, like a basis for that experiment. And I guess I see that argument a little bit. I'm on your side, by the way.
I mean, what do they need to evaluate Legette for? He was a first-round pick. He's going to be there.
Well, I guess Legette might have been a bad example.
But even Deontay Johnson.
Or Jalen Coker, who's an undrafted rookie free agent, made a couple plays. If you want to give guys opportunities, I guess the argument would be if you think Bryce Young can't get the ball to them where you'll know if they can make plays or not, if he's holding the offense back in that style of dramatic fashion, I see why you might keep him out.
I would argue the exact opposite, that they need to give Bryce Young the evaluation.
Also true.
What's more important, your undrafted free agent or the number one pick of the draft that you sold your entire franchise for? I think it's, to me, for that exact reason is why they need to go back to Bryce to give like I said, the final verdict on him.
Let's talk state. You're obviously a state legend. CJ Bailey, true freshman quarterback in there. We talked about it on our podcast. Check it out everywhere. Pack Therapy, the podcast. The new episode will be out shortly, breaking down last week's game, heading out to the Cal game. So if you want in-depth state talk from me and Mike, check that out everywhere podcasts can be found, including our YouTube. But give them the quick report card for CJ Bailey. In a loss to Syracuse, the freshman quarterback showed well.
Yeah, I mean, if we're giving grades, I think it's got to be kind of in the B+, A- range, just because you see the skill set he has. He's got a very live arm. He's got athleticism. He makes some big-time throws, and he looks comfortable back there. Now, does he look like a true freshman at times? Yes, but that's just part of the development of a young quarterback, that he's not going to make every throw. He's not going to make the right read every time. And he's going to continue to grow. But I think, for a team that's 3-4, a bright spot is definitely, the true freshman quarterback is CJ Bailey.
Can you find 3 wins on the schedule for NC State from this point forward? You're sitting at 3-4. You need 3 to get bowl eligibility. Cal this weekend, Stanford, then you get to Duke, Georgia Tech, and UNC to finish, variety of home and road games there. Can you find 3 more?
You can find them, but I think it's going to take an upset. Of those 5 games remaining, I don't know if NC State will be favored in more than 1 or 2 of them. So
Stanford, and maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance you could say maybe Duke at home or at Carolina. But
depending on how the games go up until then, it's still very much up in the air. Who'll be favored?
I think it's a great question that it's, I'll just say the expectations have changed quite a bit. We went from a playoff hopeful to now bowl eligibility hopeful. So that kind of sums up the first half of the season for NC State.
That's such a terrible way to sum up a first half of the season. I'll give you just the floor here. One more before we let you go. At the beginning of the year on the Pack Therapy podcast, and I believe you reiterated it here on this show, I asked you blank or bust for the NC State football season, and we kind of tweaked the question because you didn't like the word bust to what's the minimum to be happy, and you said 9 wins, and the overwhelming response was you were being negative, and if this wasn't the year for 10 wins or a college football playoff or an ACC championship game, but like you took some backlash. Is there any victory lap you want to take here? Do you want to?
I think I would just reiterate what I said then. Like, why would anything be that much different this year than the past, 50 years at NC State? We've had one 10-win season in that span, and all of a sudden fans are disappointed with anything less than that. Unfortunately, that's just not reality. But I think overall, clearly, even now, what I said would be a disappointing season at 9-3 is unattainable. So going forward, even if they win out and go 8-4, it does feel like this season will be a disappointment.
8-4 would feel very nice. 8-4 would, at this point, with like the level of rise, I think State fans would.
I think it would feel more like, don't know how to describe it, but it's like
a little bittersweet.
Yeah, I mean it's still not good, but it's just not as bad as it looks like it's going right now.
That's how you sum up the first half, and hopefully that's how you sum up the second half. Mike, we appreciate you as always, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Once again, that was Mike Glennon. You can catch his podcast, which I co-host right alongside him, Pack Therapy, everywhere podcasts can be found, which includes our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan. While you're there, just subscribe to the whole YouTube page. It would be awesome. We would greatly appreciate it. Right now, though, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group with this. Coach Pete, the reality that Coach Pete is trying to emphasize is financial termites exist. Now, you may be saying, what's a financial termite? I'll tell you. It is a fee that is coming out of your retirement account that you're unaware of. It is a commission that is coming out of your retirement account that you might not understand how much, or something as simple as an amount of risk that you're taking with your money, which you might not understand. These are things you need to check up on right now. Matter of fact, Capital Financial Advisory Group can do all the second opinion checking for you. All right, that way you'll know exactly what's happening with your money well before it is too late. Because it's too late when you're like, wait a second, you were risking all that with my money? Well, yeah, the fact that you said it in that tone tells me something bad just happened and maybe you didn't want to have that much risk. Coach Pete is committed to helping you retire like a champion, getting you through the financial red zone, over the goal line, and into that retirement end zone. Call 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Or text my name, Tim, T-I-M, to 600-700. That's Tim to 600-700. If they know you heard about it here, all you got to do is tell them. You'll also get one of Coach Pete's best-selling books for free. He has a whole bunch of them. So go ahead and check it out. Capital Financial Advisory Group. Let them know you heard about it here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the starting five, including a local athlete getting paid. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Kevin Stefanski runs the risk of losing his job as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because if he continues to stay the course with Deshaun Watson, he's going to lose that locker room, and those guys are going to stop playing for him. If he benches Deshaun Watson in lieu of Jameis Winston, he's probably going to get fired by the owner sooner rather than later. So it is an impossible position that Kevin Stefanski finds himself in.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader. Disturbed live. Oh, get up, come on, get down with the The 25th anniversary of the 5-time platinum album, The Sickness. 2 sets, 1 show, The Sickness in its entirety, and greatest hits with special guests, Daughtry and Nothing More. April 14th, Lenovo Center, Raleigh. Tickets on sale Friday, October 18th at livenation.com. Disturbed. Live.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Cheer on Duke football as they face off against the Florida State Seminoles on Friday, October 18th. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. There's only 3 home games left in the regular season. Don't miss your chance to see the Blue Devils at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Add the Devil's Deck in-stadium experience to your ticket and receive exclusive access to the end zone tailgate space with all you-can-eat food and drink. Tickets are available now at goduke.com/football tips or by calling 919-681-BLUE. Duke football. Bleed blue.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready to be captivated by a gun range like no other. Hey, it's Victoria Vodenecker here for Youngsville Gun Club and Range, the only live-fire digital indoor shooting range on the East Coast. It's open to the public, offers 20 modern shooting lanes, and carries one of the largest selections around. And speaking of the selection, YGC has the hottest firearms to accommodate individual preferences and the best prices in the area. Youngsville Gun Club and Range is conveniently located off US 1 in Youngsville, and for $10 off a range card, use promo code SPORTS. Learn more at ygunrange.com. That's the letter Y, gunrange.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Keep the heavier jackets handy. It's going to be a colder night tonight. 40 the low with a few spotty showers possible this evening. Sunny, cool, and breezy for the day tomorrow. The opening of the State Fair. Our forecast high is going to be around 62.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 337 points today to 43,077. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting 5. And as always, here on the starting 5, we start with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Major League Baseball playoffs still going on. Mets-Dodgers tonight, 8:08 p.m. on the opening pitch scheduled time. Tomorrow, Yankees and Guardians will get back underway. The Dodgers-Mets tied at 1 game apiece in the NLCS. The Yankees and Guardians, Yankees lead that series 2-0. Game 3 for both scheduled for tomorrow.
What do you see from your Mets tonight? Your Mets, Tim.
Sevy pitches well.
Yep.
Which at the very minimum keeps them in it through 6.
Okay.
Then I'm feeling an Alonso night.
Pete Alonso, eh?
I'm feeling a polar bear home run or 2, and that ends up being the difference. And I love the idea. Just because I'm in some Met circles, some friends, I love the idea of everybody who has just been hating on Pete Alonso all year. Can't wait till he's gone this offseason. He's this, he's that, he's the other bad thing. Then having to turn around and going, I love that Pete Alonso. He is so awesome. I just love the switch.
I think, what was it, the wild card round where he hit a home run? It was like a game-winning homer.
Go
and
ahead
it's
in
like,
the ninth, 3-run shot.
Yeah, he's like, man, I still want him gone, but I'm loving him in this moment, though.
I wonder how many, like, go-ahead playoffs, maybe season-saving home runs would it take for you to go, like, all right, you can stay.
You know what? Honestly, if he helps lead them, gets to a World Series, then you could stay as long as you want.
Well, that's the Nationals thing, right? It was who's the pitcher? Strasburg.
Steven Strasburg, yeah.
He pitched like 12 innings after that World Series, but he was the World Series MVP. He was a workhorse the whole way. They gave him $190 million. Is maybe the worst contract I've ever seen, but Nationals fans are like, yeah, but it's cool because we gave it to him after he won a World Series.
It was a thank you. Yeah, here's a thank you contract.
You had to let Bryce Harper walk because you were going to pay him, like all this stuff. But it was a lot of gosh darn money. At least I think that's how it played out. Was it Trey Turner you had to let walk?
Trey Turner had to go.
Because Bryce was already gone, right? He wasn't there for the...
Yeah, because the year that he went...
Soto. It was Soto you had to let walk.
Juan Soto. Yeah, gosh, Juan Soto's just been around. He's like on his fourth team already.
Third. It was Nats, Padres.
Now Yankees, yeah.
Yankees. And he's playing well. He's going to get paid a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
We are, by the way, 3 Mets wins and 2 Yankees wins away from a Subway Series.
That we are. Or... we're 3 Dodger wins and 2 Yankee wins from my prediction of Dodgers-Yankees.
Yeah, but you're just picking the evil empires.
I'm sorry. I'm there to be right.
Right?
I'll try to be, at least.
But, like, Yankees-Dodgers, that's like when you see a car drive by and the bumper stickers are like Yankees, Chiefs, Duke men's basketball.
Oh, no. It was, if you're a 90s...
Cowboys.
Sports fan, it was Cowboys, Yankees, Duke.
Yeah. That was
and
your
Chicago
pick.
Bulls.
That was your no, the Bulls were everybody.
Bulls were everybody.
Don't put Michael Jordan in that group. Either way, the playoffs are going on, and it should be a fun night for Mets and Dodgers fans. May the best team win, thus the Mets. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
Alim McNeil, NC State former player. It was Sanderson High School.
That's right.
Former player. So local on local ties, is now a nearly $100 million player. He's a defensive lineman for the Lions, and he just signed a 4-year, $97 million extension. There is one team outside of the Aiden Hutchinson injury that does appear to just be having way more fun than any other team in the NFL, and that team is the Detroit Lions. Even the other good teams, like it feels like the Vikings are waiting to turn back into a pumpkin. They're waiting for like Cinderella to strike midnight. The Chiefs are making it happen with duct tape and gum holding stuff together. Meanwhile, the Lions, even with Aiden Hutchinson's injury, they're like, yeah, we're having a great time. They were trying to did you see they ran a hook and ladder to their offensive tackle?
Yeah.
Like they tried to throw a back shoulder seam to their other offensive tackle on a tackle eligible play. Then they ran a hook and ladder where they had Penei Sewell diving for the pylon. He's one of the highest paid right tackles in football. They just look like they're having a great time. And Alim McNeill is in the middle going like $100 million. Yay. Just having a blast.
You know the reason why they did that with all their offensive linemen?
Why?
So in the game against the Cowboys last year, when they were going for a win late in the game, they scored a touchdown, but one of their offensive linemen reportedly didn't report as eligible.
Or he did, but the ref didn't hear him, and the video looks like he might have, but the ref didn't acknowledge it, and Dan Campbell was really mad, and everybody was really confused, and yeah.
Well, that was against Dallas last year.
So this year,
they're blowing them out. Hey, all of our offensive linemen are going to report eligible.
Everybody's going to score.
We're going to put in how many linemen do we have dressed? 9. Get them all out there.
You just know they had like a mad scientist day on like Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Got the whole offensive coaching staff in a room and, all right, let's draw something crazy.
They said, we're doing this.
Speaking of, and this is number 4 is Alim McNeil, got paid 4 years, $97 million, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league, handles his business, rightfully rewarded, one of the higher paid nose tackle guys in the entire NFL.
Young and getting better.
Young and getting better. And I mean, you brought it up when you watched him in high school. He was an off-ball linebacker?
Yeah, he was playing middle linebacker at 260 pounds. I always knew that he was going to be a down lineman, but in high school, when you're 260 pounds and run a 4.6,
now
you can chase everyone down. I'm gonna let you do that.
Now he's 315. Probably doesn't have many opportunities to run 40s, but he's really good on the interior of the defensive line. But going back to what you were saying about creative play calling, we're at the point in the season where teams are starting to break it out. Did you see the Penn State play?
No.
So Penn State ran what I consider muddle huddle, which is like the swinging gate. They're moving players. The offensive line is shifting, and they had I forget his name now. They had a tight end that ended up catching, I think it was 24 passes in the game. That's unreal.
That is insane.
Right there. So they run a trick play where the whole line shuffles, right? Everybody looks frazzled. They line up, and the tight end is the center.
Oh, he's the guy snapping the ball. Yes, okay, I do know the play you're talking about.
So this tight end it's on his way to 24 catches, which means you're going to have to be creative with how you get him the ball because the defense is going, maybe guard that guy. So they swing the line around. He's now the center, but he's also on the end of the line, which means he's an eligible receiver.
Yep.
He snaps the ball shotgun to the quarterback and takes off right down the middle of the field. But here's the best part of this whole trick play. He's running for running down for a route, trying to catch a pass. Does not fool the defense in the least bit. There is a guy step for step with great coverage. But every player that's ever played football will agree with this. If you get a trick play call, you're throwing that bad boy up. Nobody is checking down on the play where you get to try to throw a touchdown to the guy who snapped you the ball. Like if there's a running back end around pass, that running back is throwing the jump ball. He's not throwing it away. The quarterback throws it anyway, and this tight end makes a bananas catch for a touchdown, mossing a dude, which I have to imagine is the first time in major college football history that a center mossed a dude in the end zone for a touchdown reception. But technically that's what happened. And also that guy, Penn State tight end, I don't know, I'm unaware of his abilities. Got to be going up draft boards. 24?
I mean, that'll boost the season averages, to say the least.
I actually want to make sure that maybe 24 is a slight exaggeration, so I'm just going to double-check real quick because I don't want people texting in going, it wasn't 24. It was USC. They won 33-30 in overtime, and it was 17 catches. But you want to know where the 24 came from? For 224 yards.
Oh, there you go.
So it was when I knew the number was in there somewhere. It's like in the numbers game when we say Matt Ryan and everybody says 11. That's Julio Jones. You're in the right place, just wrong area. So 17 catches for 224 yards and a touchdown as a center. That's number, I forget what, 4. Let's go to number 3. The ACC preseason polls and results were released for men's basketball. As far as team rankings go, preseason, Duke the favorite. They are in first in the preseason poll with 42 first-place votes. North Carolina second with 11. Wake Forest got a first-place vote. They're in third. And then the teams, the remaining top half of the league are as followed in order. Wake was third, Clemson, Virginia, Miami, Pitt, NC State, and Louisville. It's the top half of the league for the ACC preseason poll. We discussed this earlier. I think Duke and Carolina are in their own level. That's a tier up there. I believe Wake Forest should probably be at the top of the next tier, closer to the side that's not Duke and Carolina. And then Clemson, Virginia, Miami, Pitt, and State. You could put them in any order you see fit, and I'd be okay with it. There's enough unknowns, but there's also enough optimism on all of those teams that you could shuffle them up however you see fit, and I won't argue with you too aggressively. From an individual player standpoint, R.J. Davis was picked as the preseason player of the year. 40 first-place votes, or 40 votes. It's not, they don't rank them. Cooper Flagg with Duke, 10 votes. Hunter Salas with Wake Forest, 3. And Max Raynaud of Stanford with 1. There's somebody on the West Coast with outlier votes. We talked about it earlier. The random vote for Stanford, the random vote for a Cal player, that's just somebody out there living with the Pac-12.
Don't get it.
And I mean, I do get it. I just don't like it. That's just a pure homer vote out there. But Raynaud with Stanford gets the vote. You know how I feel about that. R.J. Davis is the correct answer. Cooper Flagg is the correct second answer. Hunter Salas is the correct third answer. If it was just those three, it'd be a very good job by the voters. Preseason ACC Rookie of the Year, Cooper Flagg, nearly unanimous. A random one vote for the 251st ranked recruit in the freshman class, Jeremiah Wilkinson of Cal. You know how I feel about that. But Cooper Flagg, again, super obvious answer there. Preseason first-team All-ACC, R.J. Davis, North Carolina, Hunter Salas of Wake Forest, Cooper Flagg of Duke, Marcus Burton of Notre Dame, and Nigel Pack of Miami. Second team, Ian Shefflin of Clemson, Chase Hunter of Clemson, Jameer Watkins of Florida State, Bai Ndongo of Georgia Tech, and Ishmael Leggett of Pitt. I don't have any huge problems with it, other than I think UNC and Duke should be more represented. R.J. Davis was unanimous. Nobody else unanimous. Dennis, any observations?
The NC State disrespect continues. I mean, I still think that NC State, for as well as they did last year, was a little bit lower than I think they probably should have been in terms of the ACC poll. I think they were obviously not getting one top 25 vote was very staggering to me as well. But I also look at it in the sense of maybe people are just viewing it in the sense of, look, you got hot for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it was.
Like what I'm hearing.
It's all it was like you had a hot moment. Question is, if you're NC State, can you translate that? R.J. Davis, to me, should have been unanimous ACC Preseason Player of the Year. When you're the ACC Player of the Year last year, I understand Cooper Flagg, generational talent. I'm sorry, I'm giving R.J. Davis the vote on that.
I will
100%.
I want to ask a question about your NC State point.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a part of Kevin Keats who's happy that they're not in the top 25 and that they're picked 8th in the ACC and that they don't have any players in the top two levels of all ACC picks?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, no one's if I'm him, look, no one's expecting you to do anything.
It's really easy to believe your own hype after making a Final Four run.
Easily.
If they were doing that, watch out. Because now all of a sudden it's cold glass of water to the face. Oh, you think you're good, do you? Nobody else does. Which sometimes you need to hear. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Panthers' latest. We know that today was Jonathan Brooks' first day being allowed to practice. They opened his 21-day window.
Mm-hmm.
We know Sam Franklin had his 21-day window opened. And we know, who's it, Jaden Crumedy?
Their 6th-round pick.
All had their 21-day window open. What that means is they can now practice with the team for 21 days without counting as an active roster spot. They are coming off of injured reserve. At the end of their 21-day window, if they have not been made active by then, they will either have to be made active, or if they aren't, they're out the rest of the year. They are on season-ending IR. So they'll be practicing for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't expect a ton from Brooks until at least the back half of that window. Wouldn't expect to even really be an option to play this weekend. Sam Franklin and Crumedy, though, depending on what their injuries were and how serious they are and how quickly they can get into game shape, you might be able to see them at more positions of need getting some run on the field as maybe not this weekend, but as recently as next week.
Sam Franklin had a broken foot that happened during the preseason, like right at the beginning of training camp is when that happened. Crumedy got hurt in the first preseason game against the New England Patriots. I think it was a leg injury of some kind. I can't remember if it was a knee or a quad. But nonetheless, so I know Dave Canales has said with all these guys, it's about getting them back into just football shape. Hey, you know what? You're going to have to take a couple bumps in practice, take a couple hits, I should say, with pads on, just to get the feel of getting hit again, kind of build up the callus of your body to get your body ready to go out there and play. These 3 guys, I highly doubt are going to play this coming weekend. Next weekend, I doubt it. But I think in November 3rd, that weekend against the New Orleans Saints, I think all 3 of these guys are back. That's my projection.
Even with Brooks back, I would slow play him.
For sure.
You don't need him. Chuba Hubbard's doing fine at running back. Brooks would be a little bit more of a big play threat, but I'm not sure that's going to be back off the injury right away. That's more of a next year thing. So feel free to slow play it. Feel free. I mean, if you're in a playoff race, maybe you're rushing guys back. A very, very, very small and faint silver lining of starting the season the way you are is there's no reason to rush anyone back off an injury. You can be ultra, ultra, ultra cautious. Anything else happening from the Panthers practice today? That's about all I saw.
That's it.
Do we have the clip of Canales talking about Brooks?
I do.
All right, for a reaction to Jonathan Brooks' very first practice as a Carolina Panther, because he's been hurt since he was drafted. Here is his head coach, Dave Canales.
He looked great. You know, he took a couple of snaps, went through the individual period, so it was good to have him out there, see him running around, something that we certainly have been excited about, just get him out there, and we'll make sure we do the right thing for Jonathan first and foremost. And then from there, you know, we'll just kind of take it, you know, a week at a time and see where he's able to help us.
The funny part about that is, and this is like, I'm not a doctor, didn't stay at the Holiday Inn Express last night, but I have been around football long enough to know that a lot of times the big worry of a player coming back and trying to practice after a knee injury, it's not how it feels right after practice. It's the next morning. Is the swelling back? Is the stiffness back? Is there any kind of it's always the next day. So, you know, he feel great, look great. It's like, yeah, but we're not even to the point where you start judging yet. You got to wait till tomorrow. So he practiced today, did some things, some individual drills. You heard Coach say it's about how he wakes up tomorrow. A lot of the times, that's, you know, how far along he is actually in his recovery.
Plus, there's the mental side of it, because when you're coming off a major injury, sometimes you feel hesitant to cut because it's like, well, what happens again? It's like, is everything feeling right? Everything feeling stable? Or that first time you take a hit, like, okay, I bounce back up. Okay, I'm good. Sometimes there's a little bit of that mental hurdle to sometimes you got to get over too.
I could not agree more. And I never blew out my knee, knock on wood, hopefully I never do. But I had hamstring issues constantly. And, I mean, just you sprint and you're just like, is it going to pop? Is it going to pop? Maybe I should slow down. Maybe I should slow. And even if you don't want to think it, it's deep in the recesses of your brain. That's number 2. Let's jump to number 1. Canes win. First W of the year for the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Devils last night. I think it's a good win for the Canes. Devils came in 4-1, having played 5 games. The Canes were 0-1, having played just 1. But eye test, I think actually most of the stats show it as well. The Canes were simply better than the Devils last night. This was not, and the Canes have a way of doing this, especially when they're playing, you know, in rhythm. They can steal some where you watch the whole game going like, I don't know if they're the better team here, and then they win 3-1, and you're like, all right, never mind. Last night was not one of those. Last night they were the better team on the ice for what I considered the overwhelming majority. Not saying the Devils didn't have their flashes, but Canes controlled things. They looked like the better team. They got the win because of it. Ho-hum, open and shut, W to even your season up at 1 win and 1 loss. That's what you're looking for. That's a very Rod Brindamore win last night.
They looked like the Canes last night.
Yes,
That makes sense.
just branded, like trademarked. That's a Canes win.
Even with all the new pieces, like, oh, that looks like Carolina hockey.
The other thing I'll say is there were some kind of cool individual highlights. We've talked about it a bunch today, but it's because it only happens once in a career. Jackson Blake got his first career goal. As a forward who the Canes are I think excited about and planning for. You hope it is the first of many, but there will only be one first. And again, it's just checking things off. It now, you know, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's maybe more of a baseball thing, but actually no, it happens in hockey too, where you're knocking on the door of like becoming a team's franchise leader in goals, or you're not like you're 1 away from 300 or whatever it is. And maybe you score 4 goals in 4 games to get within 1, and then it takes you like 2 weeks to get the milestone. This is now something that Jackson Blake can put into the rearview mirror. Don't have to worry about scoring your first goal. Go score your second, third, and fourth. Like go get 10 in the next 20 games. Go do what you got to do because you can just keep settling in. Jackson Blake, the rookie, talking about feeling more comfortable each game in a Canes uniform.
Yeah, I think every day I just get more comfortable, realizing that I think I belong here in this league, and, I got to show it every night. I think every day is a tryout. So, I felt pretty comfortable tonight, and I think I'm just going to continue to feel that.
More comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable. We talked earlier today. Shane Gostisbehere had a good game. 6 shots on goal, 1 goal. He is, I think, subconsciously going to be fantastic for the current core of the Canes. And the reason being, he lets it fly, man. He lets it fly. And the Cane, and what I mean by that is he takes shots. If there's a good shot there, he's letting it rip. And it's not always going to end in his goal. Sometimes it'll end on a goal off the rebound. Sometimes it'll end with the deflection. Sometimes it'll end with a million other things. Sometimes it'll end with just a missed shot and going the other way.
Sometimes it's just sustained pressure in the offensive zone.
Make the goalie think. Sometimes it'll be that, but also the subconscious impact I think he's going to have on the rest of the team is he's going to encourage the Canes to not be so precious with their shot attempts. And this is something that I brought up last year. I think they need to be more selfish. And I'm talking about the names the Ahos, the Jarvises, the Svetches. I think they need to, when they see a good shot, let it rip much more than they do, because they're always willing to make the extra pass. They're always willing to sacrifice. I have a good shot, but my teammate might have a great shot, and I'm so unselfish that I'll slide it his way. And that's good. Like, as people, you want that. Like, it's just humans. You want them to be nice and care about others. Certain times in sports, you need to be a me-first goal scorer. It's the Ted Lasso thing, where they're telling from, I think it was season 1, maybe season 2, I don't remember, where they're telling Jamie Tart to be a basically a jerk. We'll use that as the replacement word.
Yeah.
And the signal is flipping him the bird. And that basically tells you, like, stop playing as a member of the team and go be a jerk and be selfish and be a ball hog and score. I think the Canes need that signal. I don't think that's actually something that happens in real life. It's just in Jason Sudeikis-led Apple TV shows. But Gostisbehere is someone who, when he sees a shot, he lets it rip. And it doesn't feel selfish. It doesn't feel like he's me. It feels like he's trying to help the team by making the right play. And if the right play is a shot, do it. And I think that should, I hope that rubs off on some other Canes. I'd be fine if a bunch of Canes have a worse shooting percentage, but more goals this year. Like, hey, I took a ton more shots to get 15% more goals. I'm fine with that, because that's just putting pressure, as Dennis said, on the defense and putting pressure on the goals. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You may not understand how much pressure you're putting on your windows. Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. You know what North Carolina weather is. We all do it. We all know. It's going to be hot, cold as heck today. It's going to be hot as heck tomorrow. It's going to be raining the next day. It's going to be windy the next day. You're going to start the day with a jacket. You're going to end the day sweating. And your windows that whole time are going to be trying to keep the air inside your house. And it's not easy if you're not made with the best materials. Luckily, Window Nation builds all of their windows, the bases, the window panes, the sealants, the vinyl, all of it is out of the best possible materials that have been tested a bunch of different ways. They have multi-point inspection before it even leaves the factory, a 50-point inspection on every window before it leaves the factory. So basically what I'm saying here is, and they explain it better, I encourage you to give them a call and schedule a free in-home consultation and estimate, which I did, because you walk away having learned so much about what your windows are doing for you. They're the ultimate, like, they become the background of your house. You don't notice them, but they're doing a ton when it comes to keeping your energy bill low, when it comes to just raising the value of your house, when it comes to protecting you from the elements, keeping your kids safe. Your windows are doing a lot of heavy lifting. Window Nation wants to make sure if you're depending on them in that way, They're dependable. Give them a call, 866-90-NATION, and ask about their deal going on right now. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. 866-90-NATION, or you can go online as well to schedule your in-home consultation. WindowNation.com is the website, WindowNation.com. We also need some numbers game contestants, because we have a $25 gift card to Sammy's Tap and Grill that we need to give to the winner of the numbers game. By the way, Sammy's Tap and Grill, home of the Pittsburgh watch parties for every pro football game, located at 2235 Avon Ferry Road in Raleigh. If you want to play the numbers game, if you want to win the gift card, you got to call in. We need 2 contestants. The number to call, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan, and it is time for our Scholar Athlete of the Month. Today, we are here at Willow Springs High School, and we're here to celebrate Ansley Ayers.
She's really encouraging and will make sure that you're comfortable with whatever you're doing, and I never have a bad time when I'm around her.
Her energy is always very uplifting at practice and competitions.
Last year we won a state championship. You know, she was there in the corner again, hyping everybody up, just giving them just some words of wisdom before they hit the mat.
Ansley is an amazing athlete. She's a leader on the team and a great student. Love having her in class, and she's really good and represents the school well.
I'm really happy to represent Willow Spring. Both my parents have been there for me since day one, and my sisters too. They've always been supporting me, and I couldn't have done it without them. And my teammates are always just constantly bringing up my attitude and helping me stay positive through everything, no matter how busy or stressful it can get.
Congratulations, Ansley.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
This is it, Ram Power Days. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington has the deal you've been waiting for on your brand new Ram 1500. Ready for this? 25% off. John Heister in Lillington has 25% off all new 2024 Ram 1500s right now. That's like getting a fourth of your new truck for free. That couldn't be more worth getting off your keister for. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington for 25% off your new Ram 1500.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants, this is the second day in a row my Second day in a row, my computer's being slow. Who are our contestants, Dennis?
We have Evan and Fuquay, and we have Jason and Clayton.
Evan and Fuquay and Jason and Clayton as my computer reloads. There we go. Evan and Fuquay, Jason and Clayton. It is time to play the numbers game. We do have a Sammy's Tap and Grill gift card going to one of you, but you have to win in order to play, or in order to get the gift card. You have to play in order to win. We need a question that we will ask you. We will pick our favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We have Wolfpack Weekly coming up shortly after our show.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock here on 99.9 The Fan, which features Dave Doran as a guest and coach. On Mondays, we have Panther Talk, which features Dave Canales, head coach of the Panthers, as a guest and contributor. So, Evan, we will ask you this. This is the question to see who goes first. If you had to listen to a podcast, an hour long, hosted by a coach, could be pro, could be college, could be any level, what coach's podcast are you listening to?
Does it count if I've already listened to the JJ Redick podcast? It's kind of 2 for 1 there.
Yes, that is. I mean, there's a loophole there, but we left the loophole open, I guess. So, so you're going with the JJ pod?
Yeah, old man of the 3.
All right, there you go. Evan and Fuquay. Jason and Clayton, same question to you. If you had to listen to a podcast hosted by a coach of any sport at any level, what coach are you listening to?
I'm not a fan, but I'm going to say Coach K, Duke.
All right, Coach K of Duke. Honestly, J.J. Redick and Coach K, they probably see the game similarly.
Possibly.
Dennis, which one's the better answer?
I probably am. I might actually go with J.J. Redick on this one.
I agree.
I think I'm going to go with J.J. Redick on this one.
Coach K might I don't know.
K would tell a ton of great stories. I'm sure, obviously, J.J. Redick would do the same thing.
But also, it's like with Belichick making the rounds and everything. It's, I don't know, the coaches that are so good. It's almost like, I don't know. I want someone I can debate, or somebody can, like, what are you going to say to Coach K? What is a guest going to do to stand up to Coach K?
Nothing.
J.J. Redick, when he has guests, they can like go at it, because for as awesome as J.J. was in college, his pro career, Evan Turner can make fun of him. So I forget who said what. That means
that was Evan and Fuquay.
Evan and Fuquay
said J.J. Redick.
Evan and Fuquay, you get to go first. Are you ready to pick your category?
Yes.
All right. The categories are NFL in the nick of time, all players with Nick somewhere in their name, NFL North Carolina born, baseball Hall of Famers, or NHL Canes and Whalers only.
Let's go NFL in the nick of time.
All right. These are all players who have the name Nick somewhere in their name. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns.
24.
Correct. Nick Bosa, San Francisco 49ers.
97.
Correct. Hakeem Nicks, New York Giants.
87.
Incorrect. Nick Mangold, New York Jets.
38.
Incorrect. Hakeem Nicks, New York Giants.
82.
Incorrect. Nick Mangold, New York Jets.
34.
Incorrect. Hakeem Nicks, New York Giants.
84.
Incorrect. Nick Mangold, New York Jets.
37.
Incorrect. Hakeem Nicks, New York Giants.
Am I in the right ballpark with those?
You were with Hakeem Nicks. Hakeem Nicks, wide receiver. It's 88 we were looking for. You were dancing around it. Nick Mangold, sorry, you were not. You were stuck in the 30s. He wore number 74. Big old offensive lineman. And if you want to see something really impressive, his sister is an Olympic powerlifter, and she can move weight. So very powerful family, those Mangolds. Again, 74, 88 were the two you missed. You did get two right, Nick Chubb, Nick Bosa. So go ahead and stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up.
Cool.
That brings us to Jason and Clayton. Jason, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The categories for you to remaining for you to choose from are NFL, North Carolina-born players, Baseball Hall of Famers, or NHL, Canes and Whalers only.
We'll go with NFL North Carolina players.
All right. These are all NFL players born in our home state of North Carolina. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, I'm all set.
All right, you need 3 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Keenan Allen, Chicago Bears.
87.
Incorrect. Drake May, New England Patriots.
10.
Correct. Torrey Holt, St. Louis Rams.
80.
Incorrect. Heath Schuler, Washington Redskins. Are you there?
I'm here. 12.
Drake May, New England Patriots. That was incorrect.
12.
Incorrect. Torrey Holt, St. Louis Rams.
83.
Did he get Drake May right? Did I mess that up? I don't think you were going to get to 3, but that long pause threw me all kinds of off. I don't know if you lost connection or something. You didn't get Keenan Allen 13, which is I thought you got that one and not Drake May. You did get Drake May with 10. You did not get Torrey Holt, which I believe is 88 or 81. I think we're missing 81 there in our list. But I would have given you each. And then Heath Schuler with Washington were number 5. Unfortunately, not enough for the win, but I would encourage you to call back in on maybe a more normal one when you have a little bit better connection.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. That brings us to Evan and Fuquay. You are the winner, Evan. Congrats.
Thank you.
I feel kind of bad because I got all twisted up and the other person may have gotten 2, but I don't think they would have gotten 3. Probably not 4. So congratulations. You get the gift card to Sammy's Tap and Grill. Go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis has some info he needs to get from you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep, that is a $25 gift card to Sammy's Tap and Grill, home of the Pittsburgh watch parties for every pro football game, located at 2235 Avent Ferry Road in Raleigh. Right now, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Gordon Miller and Miller Lending, they want to help you. And I mean, when it comes to helping you, what do you mean? Everybody says that. They want to take stress off your plate. For most of us, the biggest investment we're going to make is our home, right? It's our house. It's our mortgage. And anytime you're dealing with your biggest investment, that's going to lead to stress. Did I lock in my interest rate too early? What happens if rates drop? Do I have the cash for closing costs and fees to refinance and get that monthly payment down? What should I do? Should I wait? It's an election year. Are the rates going to... So much stress, right? So much. Well, with Miller Lending, you can say goodbye to all of that stress because they have something they call the no-cost loan, the no-closing cost loan that Gordon Miller's been doing since 1987. And this is how it works. It doesn't take any money out of your pocket. No costs and fees, no cash if you want to refinance. There's no closing costs, no fees when you get your original mortgage. That takes away the stress for this reason. Rather than trying to time the market, right? Oh, I'm going to wait till it's lower. It might be lower next week. I heard there's a cut coming. Get your mortgage rate now. That way, if the rates go up, you're good. You already have your rate, right? You don't feel like a dummy for not locking it in last week if rates go up. And if rates go down, if there is that cut, the Fed cut, if there is that drop in interest rate that you're expecting with an election year, refinance. No money out of your pocket. It sets you up to not feel dumb either way. And if you're like me, you don't like feeling dumb. So give them a call. How about that for a pitch? Do you not want to feel dumb? Give them a call. I don't like feeling dumb. I don't know about you. 919-447-3377 for Miller Lending. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Panthers fans, if you get frustrated watching football, I have a way. I think I can make it more fun for you. Stick around.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
10 seconds. Andy pumps, floats one back to the end zone. Oh! Brings it in! Xavier Leggett. He does the horse ride, and the Panthers get the TD.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
At the Home Depot, we know communities are more than bricks and mortar. They're people, and we are part of the community too. So in the wake of recent events, we're here to help you rebuild and restore. As always, our associates are here to assist you. We have essential items in the front of the store, making it easy for you to get what you need, and our online resources are available to guide you through your recovery. Because when our community needs us, the Home Depot is here to help.
Max Bankman, I'm the new doctor.
Welcome aboard the Odyssey.
ABC Thursdays.
This ship is heaven. We're tending to our passengers' dreams. I'm in.
From 911 executive producer Ryan Murphy comes a splashy new drama on a luxury cruise ship with Joshua Jackson and Don Johnson.
It's your job to keep everyone alive.
She's in VFib. 1, 2, 3. Clear.
I have a pulse. You're going to be okay.
Dr. Odyssey. Thursdays, 9/8 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, everything for the exterior of your home. Do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite, yeah.
I want to hear
it. So windows, doors are my favorite products. The reason why is because we are the best at installing them. You know, there's 1,000 different types of windows on the market, doors on the market, different people installing them, different companies. I don't care how good a window you get. If it's not installed properly, it's not going to do you a bit of good. I always tell people, if you buy a submarine window, the best one in the world, and you have me put it on a submarine, you don't want to get in that submarine.
I don't want to get in the submarine either way.
I hear you. So anyway, so that's the thing I say. So it's really important that you have things installed properly. We've been around since 1961. We've got a 4.9 out of 5-star Google review ratings, over 800 reviews. Give us a call. We'll come out and give you a free no-obligation estimate.
It's the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online at aluminumcompany.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Wednesday. The Panthers are struggling. It is, I mean, what are we going into week 7 here? Is that what we're looking at?
Yay.
Season's going quick. But
we're a
here's
third of the way through the year.
Yeah, look at that. Would you just
look at that on-air math?
I don't try. Actually, I try too often.
You do try.
I would have said 1/6 of the way through. Here's the rub. Here's the gist. The Panthers aren't very good this year.
No.
Which for the most part makes this season kind of a bummer for Panthers fans. But it does open up one of the tried and true fun activities for bad NFL teams. And Panthers fans may have forgotten that this exists because last year they didn't get to do it despite being bad. And it's fantasize about your high first-round pick. It's fantasize, watch college football on a Saturday when your favorite team isn't playing and you're playing the remote flip game where you're checking out all the games. You watch for the stud NFL prospects and imagine them in your favorite team's jersey. This weekend, there's some interesting ones. So Panthers fans, again, if you want to watch your favorite team, if you're a big fan of one of the teams in the triangle, whatever, watch them. But other than that, it's time to start scouting. It's time. Treat yourself like an assistant GM. You're the director of college football scouting. You're looking at who the Panthers might draft with their likely top. I mean, how to say likely top 3?
Top 5 to be safe.
Likely top 5.
Let's
pick.
be safe. Top 5.
There's a Colorado versus Arizona game, 4:00 on Saturday.
Okay.
Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Tairoa McMillan are all going to be in that game. All players expected could be top 10 picks. Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Deion Sanders' son. Travis Hunter, everything. Punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver, defensive back, track star, basketball star, does a little bit of everything. YouTube star, does a little bit of everything. And Tairoa McMillan is a 6'5", like Mike Evans style wide receiver for Arizona. Here's the thing about this, Panthers fans. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to be, as a unit, because they're teammates at Colorado, one of the biggest pre-draft debates I think we've ever seen. How high do you draft a player like Travis Hunter, and what is your plan for him? Do you let him play offense and defense at the NFL? What if he's a better defensive back, but he desperately wants to play wide receiver because there's more money there?
Which one do you choose him to play?
And how does that – he's been very he's been the driver of his career thus far. He was the number 2 recruit in the country and went to Jackson State. He doesn't strike me as somebody that is going to just be like, oh, you want me to play defensive back? Cool. It might be, no, I'm playing wide receiver.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll go out there when there's 3 receiver sets on offense as well.
Yeah, I'll play both. Shedeur Sanders he's a good quarterback. Let's say that, right? He completes a high percentage of his passes. He's accurate, but he brings a lot of off the field attention, and that's going to be the debate about him.
Mm-hmm.
So figure out where you stand. If the Panthers have a top 3 pick, there's going to be ad nauseum conversations about those 2 guys, and figure it out. Watch it, make your decision, because it's going to be debated. And then Tairoa McMillan's just a really good big wide receiver. If you're picking first, let's say they stop giving the ball to Chuba Hubbard, they don't win many more games, and you get to pick first. If it isn't a quarterback year, which I don't believe it is, I wouldn't pick any quarterback in the top 5. It's going to be an edge rusher or an offensive tackle. Why? Because that's essentially all it is. Going back to Keyshawn Johnson in 96, every number 1 overall pick has been a quarterback, overwhelming majority, a offensive tackle, or an edge rusher. So I don't think the Panthers should be the ones blazing a trail. I mean, we're taking a guard, number 1 overall. I don't think they should do that. So stick to the tried and true. Edge rushers, how about this? Georgia versus Texas, 7:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a banger.
There's Michael Williams of Georgia, who is an edge that is projected to be a top 10 pick, and he's going up against Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle for Texas, who is projected to be a top 10 pick.
Okay.
Those are the matchups that will decide the top of the draft. When you watch either of their film, that's the game you're going to go to first because you want to see them against other NFL caliber top-end competition. Other edges, there's Nick Scourton from Texas A&M. There's James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee.
He's a North Carolina guy.
Who's, one of those guys that left and went to Tennessee.
Hey, bring him home.
Oh, there you go.
Bring him home.
He's playing against Alabama 3:30 on Saturday.
Another heater of a game this weekend.
That is a fastball look for old James Pierce Jr. What I'll say about Pierce is if he were 1 inch, 2 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier, 20 pounds heavier, he's the number 1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little undersized, so will probably fall all the way to like 4th, 6th. But he's very, very good. There's also Will Campbell, LSU, offensive tackle, 7 o'clock on Saturday. They're playing Arkansas. There are guys out there. This is not one of those drafts like last year where Caleb Williams, we knew he was going number 1 overall from, before the season started. And it's not even the point where it started to become very obvious that Drake May and Jaden Daniels would be 2 and 3. This is one you gotta pay attention to a lot of moving pieces. So if you're a Panther fan and you want to have some fun, pretend you're a GM. And if the other piece of advice I'd have, watch these guys throughout the season. Write it down somewhere. Text it to your friend. Post it in a blog post. Tweet it out. Do something that has a timestamp. Because right now, what's happening with the Panthers and Bryce Young? Everybody in the world that you talk to knew from the very beginning that C.J. Stroud was the pick. Everybody you talk to knows 100% that you should have drafted C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young. And I said it then, and I'm going, well, it's funny because I don't remember that many people saying it then. But if you then pulled up a tweet and it said, like, hey, I might not be an expert, but I know for a fact I would take C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young, and it's timestamped 2 days before the NFL draft, I would have no leg. I couldn't say, I don't know if I believe you. I'd be like, all right, I guess I got to believe you.
There are some people, when Chris and I were doing Panthers Playbook, when we said actually before the draft that if we said Stroud, like, oh, no, you didn't say that. And I'm like, here's actually the video of us saying it. And
exactly.
It's like,
so that's my advice.
There's that.
Because, like, let's say it comes down to Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks. You're going offensive tackle because they're the best.
Sure.
And Kelvin Banks ends up being a Hall of Famer, and Will Campbell ends up, being slid inside to offensive guard by year 3. And you want to be able to prove, I knew it was Kelvin Banks. He was at Texas, and I knew it. Just somewhere. Have it written down with a timestamp. That's all I'm saying. That's my advice. Play GM. And then the better and better and better you get, the more and more confident you'll learn from your mistakes because you'll have a record of them. It's fun. And at least that's me, right? It's kind of fantasy football. I have dynasty leagues, and I'm into that kind of stuff. I like seeing how I would fare. So there's my advice there. Watch the Colorado-Arizona game if you have multiple screens. Watch the Alabama-Tennessee game. Watch the Texas-Georgia game, and pay attention to individual prospects that might be future Panthers and make opinions about them. If the ball goes the other way, do they hustle? Write it down. Have you? There's a great article on the the Rams. Their internal evaluation process is almost completely in emojis. So if you see a player, their name, and in their little column it says like, flexing arm, fire emoji, face with a tongue sticking out. That means like he's strong, he's angry, he plays angry, and he doesn't take himself too seriously. Like they have a whole code for all of the emojis.
Okay.
Like make up your own code. Do what you got to do. I think it's fun to pretend to be a GM, and it's one of the only joys of having a bad team that you're a fan of is you get to go, hey, we got a first-round pick. Didn't have it last year for the Panthers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close here. Leading off over. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say real quick, we actually have something to give away here. Text to win.
Ooh.
Text the keyword YOUNG, YOUNG, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Brett Young at DPAC on October 26th. So, again, text YOUNG to 919-860-5326.
Now, coming up on Overdrive here on 99.9 The Fan, we are talking about the Carolina Panthers again with some mini goals, something that you might be able to find joy in towards the end of the season. Also, we have Wolfpack Weekly coming up at 7 o'clock here on 99.9 The Fan. A little bit of housekeeping, just letting you know what's coming up. Dave Doran will obviously have some tough questions to answer on that one, so stick around for it. We'll be back tomorrow for a Thursday edition of the Drive at 3. Until then, keep it tuned right here. Follow us on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, and have a great night.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Kevin Stefanski runs the risk of losing his job as the head